welcome to Hostile Therapy with me, Big Red. And return again is LT, Mr. Lord Trent. What's going on, man?
Everything's all good as it always should be.
All right.
Good as it should.
Today we're going to be talking about some mommy and daddy issues. We got a story that kind
We're
of
talking about the world.
yeah, that could work. That could work with that. The subject matter what is kind of bouncing off of is one of your favorite characters, Derek Jackson.
Oh shit! God damn! I knew it was either going to be somebody I really liked or somebody I liked or I don't like, and you were saying that ironically, and I knew it was the latter. I knew it was the latter.
It's always the latter with me, man. I'm always sarcastic with the people you like, man. But
You damn comedians!
if it ain't Derek Jackson, it's Derek Jackson. There's something about that DJ name, that Derek Jackson, Darius Jackson.
It's so generic. It's AI. It's AI. It's it's nigga AI.
Before we get it in, and speaking of that word you just said, nigga, N-word.
Oh, my bad, niggas.
Oh, yeah, niggas. And, and I might actually bring up I'm going to get in a rabbit hole if I don't stop. But you're a fan of Boondocks, right?
Of course.
Okay. And, a lot of the episodes they did on there were based off of real people, like, the Booty Warrior.
Oh, yeah, Fleece Johnson, who is now free.
Yeah, he's done some interviews with a guy named Anton, who's a YouTube.
And his butt has lived to tell the tale?
Yeah, he did a one-on-one, and he he did a few interviews with, I can't remember his last name, but he's a YouTube social media influencer or whatever. Talked about his time being in prison. And what was the other one? There was another, the white teacher that...
Oh, they said the N-word? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Actual person.
Yeah. And you look at these episodes, you're like, there's no way that they had to make this up.
Just like a little Lamilton or Lamarian.
Yeah, that's another one.
I like to do hood rat things with my friends, like smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. And there was another one I caught on late. There was an interview on Vlad TV with one of the creators of Boondocks, called something. What is his name?
I think I know who you're talking about. I want to say I saw an interview he did on Comedy Hype.
Carl Jones. And he had a couple of things he talked about, like the Usher episode was loosely based on him. Mm-hmm. And the one that I looked up and had no idea it was about a real person. I didn't even think to look it up because I thought it was so stupid to be a real person. It was the Jimmy Rebel episode.
Jimmy Rebel exists in real life in the world.
Yeah. I did not know that was based off of a real person. And apparently, I think they changed the name up a little bit. I don't know if it's James Rebel or something like that. The name has changed up just a little bit, still Rebel. And he went under a moniker, I guess, to kind of stay hidden. But he produced these songs in the 1960s where it was like Coontown, Nigger State.
Oh, yeah, it was letting that shit fly. Yeah. I remember there was an episode of Wu-Tang in American Saga where his mom, RZA's mom, owed some Italians some money. And they came in, well, long story, they owed her, she owed them some money. Yeah. They came into her house and they played this motherfucking "Don't Trust Those Niggers in the Night" song. Like it was some old Frank Sinatra ass, was not Frank Sinatra, because he had a bisexual relationship with Richard Pryor, but that's neither here nor there. But it was some old-timey ass 20s, 30s, 40s ass song, and the lyrics were "Don't trust those niggers in the night." And he sang this shit in front of a live audience, so you could hear people on the track like laughing and reacting and shit.
That sounds like that Justin Bieber, not his song, but that footage they call him. I think he was like 11 or 12.
And never forget that Justin Bieber was out here heavily dropping nigga. Not even nigga. He was out here dropping nigger. And none of that stopped him from becoming rich, famous, successful, whatever the fuck he is right now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to the Jimmy Rebel thing. The Jimmy Rebel thing, I found out was a real thing. I looked him up, went through a rabbit hole. This is like 3 a.m. where I should have been asleep. And I looked up that he had a few albums named after this, and kind of true to the episode, he says he really didn't believe in any of that stuff. He just did it to make money because he knew that it would light a fire under people that love that kind of music. And
hell yeah,
He really didn't have that kind of mentality towards that. Only thing he said he had that would probably be bias towards black people is he didn't believe in reparations, whatever like that. And he had his reasons for that, of course. But then what happened was it never caught to mainstream. But what happened was the internet brought it back to the forefront, and then he became popular again. And his music became popular and people started buying it. And then the Boondocks somehow discovered him. I think in 2003, I think he made another album in 2003 and discovered how this was a real thing. But kind of like true to the episode, he really wasn't like, he really was okay with black people to a degree, you know, as long as you just keep away from my daughter. But
pretty much that's what it is. Like,
yeah, and I'm okay to work with you, okay for you, you know, buy my stuff or whatever, work for me.
That still happens in the music industry. Like I like to think about it like this. I remember watching an interview where 50 Cent said he doesn't smoke at all. Like there was a certain point where he stopped smoking. Yeah. A lot of artists say that. Tiger said he stopped smoking. A lot of them don't drink and shit, but they sell us the image of someone who smokes, someone who
high all the time.
And we all know that they don't commit crime. They don't commit the same level of crime anymore. You're not still out in the street catching bodies, but these are the kind of things you rap about. These are the kind of things that you sell to people because you know that there is an audience for it. It's been proven and tested that there is an audience that is going to buy violent music. There's an audience that's going to buy sexual music. There's an audience that's going to buy drug-infested music. Just like back in the fucking 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, there was an audience that loved racist-ass music. Because being racist was kind of like, it wasn't even being racist back then. It was the way things were.
Yeah. And the guy's name, the only thing they switched up was Johnny. His name was Johnny Rebel in real life. On the Boondocks, they called him Jimmy Rebel. And that wasn't even his real name. His real name was Clifford Joseph Trahan.
Because of course, and boom, perfect name. Like Johnny, Jimmy Rebel, whatever the fuck. Goddamn, you didn't go by your government name. You didn't go by what your mama named you because you ain't want to bring that kind of shame on to your mama. You ain't mind getting paid for it, but you ain't want that to directly affect you and yours.
I think there was something else they said he did. It was how did he have it? Had a problem with reparations. Let's see. He did something different that I was like surprised that when he came back out, I think in 2003, there were some songs they wanted him to sing at a concert, which they said he only sang in person maybe one or two times. But he only agreed to sing some of the songs from his albums to make sure there were no black people there because he didn't want to make them upset. I'm like, oh,
NWA couldn't even say fuck the police without getting arrested. And everyone in their life, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, has felt the urge to say fuck the police. Yeah, you couldn't even, like, them motherfuckers got arrested for that. This motherfucker was really, they made sure he was protected so that he could sing about fuck these niggers, hard R.
So it says, according to Trahan, Johnny Rebel, he performed a Johnny Rebel song once. And he said that he was performing in a Kaplan, Louisiana, when someone in the crowd requested a Rebel song, and he obliged after making sure there were no black people in the audience.
How do you do that? Like, because what if there was? Like, what? How the fuck?
Like, I don't know how big. Maybe the audience wasn't that big.
Then what the fuck does that say? Like, we made sure there were no black people in the audience. So we sang the song about racism. That's like saying, hey, I want to sing this song about rape, but can someone please make sure there are no women in the audience?
Yeah, it's very thoughtful. He didn't really have to think about it. So that was really thoughtful of him.
In some circles, yeah, like that would be considered thoughtful. Well, bless his heart, making sure there were no baboons in there to get their little baboon feelings hurt. You know what? I'm about to go buy six. About to go buy Six's albums right now.
That was like some of the lyrics to his song. How did you know? How did you know? You got some of his albums, don't you?
I'm a kind of
help him go platinum.
I've been saying I've been binge watching South Park, and that's
I wouldn't be surprised if South Park did that before Boondocks. That's an episode I could see them doing.
They're always like, I'm on season 18 now, and oh man, it's they have the Simpsons. They have that Simpsons kind of like thing. They don't predict anything. I don't think they're predicting anything, but I'm watching episodes from like 2014 when LBGTQ, RGSUV stuff first started popping up with, Mr. Garrison becoming Mrs. Garrison and shit. And it's just funny to see how we're reacting the exact way they react on the show now. So that is funny. Like, they're not predicting anything. They're telling us this is how things are right now in the time that we like. South Park is always hyperbolic and they love hyperbole and the ridiculousness and the way they do their satire. And I think the only thing that makes it seem like it's telling the future is how we react to it. Same with The Simpsons. Well, no, The Simpsons actually says some shit's gonna happen. That shit happens. South Park tells us how we're gonna react to things while they're happening, and that's what the fuck we do. Like, now we're about to head to the point where there's 3 bathrooms. I just got through watching the episode where Cartman decides to become a transginger. That's the way he says it, transginger.
Transginger.
Because these are 9-year-old fucking kids and they don't know what the fuck is going on. They just know what they see on the news, know what their parents are talking. And that's what's kind of great about it. It's like these kids are so damn innocent and the parents are so damn anxious and they just take turns swapping places.
Well, that's going to run into one of the stories we talk about tonight, coincidentally.
I love a good segue.
We'll get there eventually. We're going, and this kind of does relate to parents and how they raise their kids. The first thing we're going to get into is, like I said, your dude, your favorite guy, man, Derrick Jaxn. And I'm starting to think, like I said, that some of these Hollywood people, I can't even call them Hollywood.
I'm about to say, where he live at? Where's he from? Like,
these social media or low tier celebrity people are in cahoots with each other a lot of times. And I feel like maybe Derrick and Danae are in cahoots with each other. Like, hey, we can't work together as a relationship couple, but maybe we can work together to make this money. Because, he's been speaking on his ex. She talks about him. That seems to bring in views. But he spoke on her in this interview, and she's going to speak on it too. When I'm playing the video, he's talking about how she would be jealous of her dark-skinned daughter based off of the women Derrick Jaxn would date. And so she would take it out on her daughter. She would treat her daughter differently than she would treat her other daughter. I don't know if she's lighter brown or whatever, or light skin. I don't know what they look like, but
these niggas got kids.
Yeah.
I wish I did. Play a clip, man, because I'm about to roast.
Okay. There's 2 clips I'm going to play. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go.
There's another person that, I don't know how to say this, but I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. So our eldest daughter, she may have spoken on this, is darker than the other 2.
Oh yeah, she said that. She said she didn't used to like that. She said she didn't like that daughter. She had a lot of resentment towards that daughter.
So me, like in the house as an infant, as a toddler, because she's saying it, and I don't think you might not understand like this.
What it looked like in real time.
In real life, these are experiences.
I can imagine what it looked like.
So I could often intervene or kind of settle things out because I know that she loves that girl. I know that she loves her children. But it was affecting their relationship and how she treated her or how harsh she was or how she talked to her.
And I got that from what she's saying. She's saying that when somebody says that they don't like their child because the dark skin of this child reminds them of the type of women that you preferred, then
it's a different level.
It's a different
and I
level.
didn't understand it, but again, with Grace, it's just like, even she's saying she's trying to work against it. So, all right, family business. We're going to work through this. But I'm the one that saw the 2-year-old go for affection to their mommy and get turned away while the other 2 light skin or the other 1 light skin at that time child gets all the love and affection, and the dark skinned child has to see that. I'm the one that hears our dark skinned child say things reflective of how she feels mommy feels about her. So as everything was in a stagnation or regressing, it wasn't just me getting pushed away or treated a certain way.
Yeah.
And again, I really hope people just approach this with compassion, because I don't think any of us manage all of our emotions perfectly.
Of course not.
And she's done a ton of sacrificing for every one of those kids. I just need to say that because she's not a bad mom.
Right.
But I said the longer that I stay in this space, knowing that she's not going to do what I need her to do, and therefore that stunts her healing, our reconnection. The longer she's getting.
Okay, that's the end of that one. And I'm gonna play the other one right quick.
I hate the color of his outfit. This nigga's a hoe. First things first. His outfit is terrible. It's very mature. It's elegant. I just hate the color.
I can see that. And the shoes.
The shoes look like he would be
of his
that's flying.
Post was referencing that, even down to our daughter. Like I had some issues, like just like with the complexion of our daughter, because that was the type of woman that he would go after. And I'm not dark, like super dark skinned woman. And our daughter's like a little chocolate little princess. She has it, you know, and I'm just like, how does she look like the women that he wants?
Wow, that's deep.
How does she look like the women that he wants and he desires and he loves? Like, you know, like, I don't understand. It's like they had her even though I carried her.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Hold
I had
on.
to work out.
You gotta let that sit. You can't, Lord Jesus. You said they had her even though you had her?
They had her even though I carried her. That's what I felt like for a long time. I had to really sit down and
because her skin tone represents the type of women that he would cheat on you with.
Yes.
And that's not even, he fucked some light skinned hoes.
And so then it just played on the rejection and the abandonment and the not like, choose me. What is there about me? Right? Our daughter even has everything that you like search for, or at least preference in a woman. Now every woman wasn't dark skinned clearly, but there's a preference and a type, and a lot of them were. And so even our daughter came out in that preference, and I'm like, you know, and that I feel like the Lord did that intentionally so that I could really deal with that. I could really deal with that aspect and be able to teach my daughters, because I have two girls now, but be able to teach them, and one's lighter and one's darker, right? So I had the experience of being in this weird world where I'm trying to be these other women and all these things, but I had to really sit back and deal with that. It affected I feel like my ability to mother her and to nurture her and to just have that mother-daughter relationship that I always desired, but I didn't know how to get there because all this stuff was in the way. And so I had started telling him about that and trying to be vulnerable, because when you decide to come back, you got to be vulnerable still, even though it's scary.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing, Preezy? Before I start.
Hey guys, what are we talking about tonight?
Okay.
Some dumbasses.
Did you get to hear some of that video, Preezy?
Only when she was talking about light skin daughter.
Okay. I might play it again for you, but
go ahead, run it back, Preezy.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get the premise of it is based. This is Danae Jackson. This is the ex of Derek Jackson on the guru. Okay, you're familiar with him. So he did a video first about her saying how she treated their dark-skinned daughter differently than the light-skinned daughter. Like that she treated the dark-skinned daughter better than the light-skinned daughter. Well, no. She treated the dark-skinned daughter worse than the light-skinned daughter because she saw Derek was cheating on her with his preference, which is dark-skinned women. So she took it out on the daughter. And Danae Jackson was reverberating the same sentiments that he said about her, that, yes, I mistreated my dark-skinned daughter because I saw that he had a preference with the women he cheated on me with. And she's just trying to be open about how, you know, this manifested into how she treated her dark-skinned daughter versus the light-skinned daughter, and how she needed to see that she said God showed her that, or put her in that type of situation to see that I guess she was wrong with how she viewed dark-skinned, light-skinned, whatever. I'm gonna play the video again of what she said, and you can kind of get your own opinion about what you thought about what she's saying about this situation, which is pretty deep, I would say. Let me play it right quick again.
Little segment of his post was referencing that, even down to our daughter. Like I had some issues, like just like with the complexion of our daughter, because that was the type of woman that he would go after. And I'm not dark, like super dark skinned woman. And our daughter's like a little chocolate little princess. She has it, you know, and I'm just like, how does she look like the women that he wants?
Wow, that's deep.
How does she look like the women that he wants and he desires and he loves? Like, you know, like, I don't understand. It's like they had her even though I carried her.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? And so I
Hold
had
on,
to work out.
Danae, you gotta let that sit. You can't, Lord Jesus. You said they had her even though you had her?
They had her even though I carried her. That's what I felt like for a long time. I had to really sit down and
Because her skin tone represents the type of women that he would cheat on you with?
Yes. Yes. And so then it just played on the rejection and the abandonment and the not like, choose me. What is there about me? Right? Our daughter even has everything that you like search for, or at least preference in a woman. Now, every woman wasn't dark skinned, clearly, but there's a preference and a type, and a lot of them were. And so even our daughter came out in that preference, and I'm like, you know, and that I feel like the Lord did that intentionally so that I could really deal with that. I could really deal with that aspect, and be able to teach my daughters, because I have 2 girls now, but be able to teach them, and one's lighter and one's darker, right? So I had the experience of being in this weird world where I'm trying to be these other women and all these things, but I had to really sit back and deal with that. It affected I feel like my ability to mother her and to nurture her and to just have that mother-daughter relationship that I always desired, but I didn't know how to get there because all this stuff was in the way. And so I had started telling him about that and trying to be vulnerable, because when you decide to come back, you got to be vulnerable still, even though it's scary.
Okay. So we're gonna pop the clock on this one. We're gonna give our initial statements and then free for all after that. LT, I'm gonna let you go first. Oops, where is the damn clock? The clock has disappeared. Hold on. Okay, I'll let you go first, LT. You tell us, what do you think about the statements made by Danae Jackson about how she viewed her dark-skinned child, how that made her feel, right or wrong? How did that translate to you, what she just said in this video? What up? Get it to pop up.
Go!
I wish both of these motherfuckers would go away and leave me alone. I really do. Because did she blame God for why she got a dark-skinned child now?
Always blaming God.
Like it wasn't like, because now it's so strange she don't have that bonnet on no more. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't see anything wrong with a bonnet, but that was your helmet for the Lord, and now you blaming God that you got a dark-skinned daughter. And weird, I'm sorry, this is weird that you think that your husband and his daughter have a better relationship because he cheated on you with dark-skinned women, which is some bullshit, because I just Googled it, and yeah, the women he was cheating on with are her complexion. Like, they not dark, they not even his complexion. He's dark-skinned. So it's like, what the fuck is she talking about? I feel like she just said some shit that a lot of dumb people in the comment section, whoever the fuck watches this man's podcast, is like, you know what? Yeah, because I feel like I got treated differently because I was dark-skinned. It's just little topics, because y'all still got these kids. Like, so y'all are just on the same damn show, not sitting down together. I feel like, yeah, they both trying to get to a bag together, but an individual bag. I feel like they think they're trying to put 1 + 1 and make it 2. Because yeah, this is dumb. Because what the fuck was he talking about? Was the reason, is that any of the reason he cheated? Because you feel like your wife is being mean to your dark-skinned daughter? Why didn't you divorce her first? Like, why the fuck not do that? Why all these videos in your car talking about what women don't need to be putting up with? Like, it's just so weird that now y'all want to give us the ins and outs of y'all. And you know what? I knew this. I knew that the children, if they had children, the family was going to be next. Like, because you're not a relationship guru because you had a terrible relationship guru. So now you're just going on a talk show run about my terrible relationship because people want to hear about it because now it's juicy. Now it's, I smack shit out of Derrick Jaxn if I see
Damn.
Oh my God.
All right. Breezy. Tell us what you feel about this situation. What you feel about this story.
Are you ready? Go!
I'm just trying to be me. The woman is scorned. She need help. Maybe they doing this for money. They both doing, people be working together and you don't know they working together. He probably doing stuff to get clout. She doing stuff to get clout. Stop putting your personal business online for the world to see. Yeah. I think it's ignorant. Oh, I'm going to treat my daughter bad because that's the color of the women you were messing with. What the hell? When were you back in 1862? The dark-skinned daughter was the outside slave and the light-skinned daughter is inside slave? What is going on here? Why would you even put your daughters in that equation? What do they have to do with the man cheating? So she need help. She do. She's not the only person in the world that's been scorned and damaged by a relationship. Get some therapy. Stop being on these talk shows and talking nonsense. You got children. Kids probably going to be getting teased in school because both parents are on Facebook and all other social media platforms being silly. Go get you some counseling from a therapist because everybody has been down that road before. Hurt. Because that's what it is, hurt. And it makes no sense what she's talking about because why would you even involve your children with your marriage? You treating your one and then blaming God. I'm so tired of people blaming God for things. Would y'all leave God alone, please? Leave him alone. It's not God, it's them. It's not her, it's not him, it's them. They need help. Yes. Oh, it's at me.
Okay. Let's see.
Are you ready? Go!
And whatever is bothering you, whatever problems people have, situations don't make that problem with you come out worse. It's already in you. It just adds gasoline to the fire. For this situation, it had nothing to do with Derrick Jaxn cheating or the skin color of the child. It had to do with she had an issue with colorism her entire life. This just made it come to the forefront. She had issues with dark skin, brown skin, light skin, whatever people before this came. This just brought it to the forefront. That's the only thing it did. So she needs to fix the root of the problem, where that came from. It won't because of Derrick Jaxn cheating. I'm sure it didn't make her feel more confident in herself, but she had that problem before. Because I don't know how you can connect the two. I don't know how you can connect the daughter who has nothing, zero to do with the cheating that Derrick Jaxn did. How does it? I don't know how she even connected the two and saying he has a preference. Well, everybody has a preference. I mean, still, what does the daughter have to do with it? How would you mistreat the daughter based on what the immoral husband relationship guru did? So that's sick first and foremost. So that's why I don't think it had nothing to do with Derrick Jaxn cheating. It just brought the situation to the forefront. It's like when people become selfish or money hungry, even more so when they become millionaires. It's always been in them. It's just put them in a situation where now it's multiplied and you can see it better. This is a problem she has had since, I guarantee you, childhood, where she had to deal with colorism, whatever, or maybe just another guy having a preference over her and she didn't have confidence in herself. And then your husband chooses somebody that doesn't look like you, even though LT mentioned there were lighter skinned people that her husband was dating or cheating on her with. He had darker skinned people too, but she chose to make this situation. This situation didn't choose her. She made this situation before it even came out like this. She just got problems that has nothing to do with the children, nothing to do with Derrick Jaxn. The root of the problem, I guarantee you, happened to her as a child.
I agree with you. I think it's really just, it's not that he preferred a color over you. He just prefers other women over you. Like, that's his preference, other women. It doesn't matter if they dark or light, because it's not like she's super light skinned. She's literally brown.
Yeah.
Like she's brown. She's like right in the middle. She's like literally mid shade. So I don't know how old their kids are, but yeah, the statement about, I feel like they had these children, meaning the women that he was cheating on her with, these women. So you feel like these women carried your children or carry your daughter? And like, I just really feel like, in a way to stay relevant, in a way to stay in the talk show circuit, in these podcast circuits, you trying to talk about shit that you're just exposing parts of your life that you feel like are buzzworthy. Colorism is always going to be buzzworthy. Cheating is always going to be buzzworthy. How people treat their kids is always going to be buzzworthy. And it's like, I want to know, when do we get to the point to where we start interviewing the children and asking them, so what's it like being the daughter of Derrick Jaxn? Well, I'm glad you asked. My dad, I always felt like he paid more attention to my sister than to me. Like, is that where we're going to get? Are we going to start interviewing the children about this messy ass family? Like, what? But white families don't have to do. Well, you know what? We watch a white family do this every week, and they're called the Kardashians.
What do they do every week?
Just expose themselves.
Oh, okay. I got what you're saying.
Expose their family history, expose the dirty laundry, talk about their problems on camera, as if we give a fuck.
Somebody.
Why do we? Yeah, we only give a fuck because we can look at it and say, ooh, at least that's not happening in my house.
Right.
On the lower level, we watch the Kardashians because we like seeing our rich, famous celebrities, people that have billions and billions of dollars and influence. We like seeing that, oh my God, they bicker and live just like us. I should give them more of my money because now I relate to them. And we like seeing it with regular people because then we can look down on somebody. We look up to the people that have money for it, and we look down on the people that we feel like, I feel like I got more in the bank than Derrick Jaxn. Because I know that the only reason he's on these shows is because, the bank is running dry. What was his job before this? Oh, the relationship guru. Your relationship has deteriorated right in front of us. So your pivot was to now I'm just going to expose all the things about my relationship that y'all didn't know. Nigga, we didn't know you was in a relationship. I didn't. I truly didn't. Like, I didn't even know he had children up until this moment right here. And the fact that the first time I'm hearing about your children is about how your wife mistreats them. Because again, is this to explain why you were cheating on her? Is this to explain why you got caught up with these mistresses that said you were a sex addict? Is that why you were cheating? Because your wife was mean to your daughter? Divorce your wife. Get her some counseling. Get some counseling for the both of y'all. Like, y'all wasn't on I didn't see them. She was never in the passenger seat of any of his motherfucking conversation. And this was never a topic of conversation. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker got, I'm pretty sure he got submissions, because it's weird that now you want to talk about parenting and being in a relationship. But as the relationship guru, you were only talking about what women should be accepting from men and the appropriate, like he was giving relationship advice from a single aspect. From a dating aspect, of a casual dating aspect. And now when we see that you're not the person that anyone should casually date or intimately date, you've transformed into, well, it's because I was in a terrible relationship and I too am a victim of things. Y'all love victims. I am a victim of being with a woman that treated my daughter like shit.
You usually see this out of step parents. The way how she reacts to another daughter and saying the husband is making her jealous because maybe he's paying more attention to the daughter than the actual wife. You see, or they're not paying attention to the stepwife's kids versus the father's original kids. You usually see that out of that, but not the naturally born kids that you had with your husband. You usually don't see that kind of reaction, and especially to separate it into colorism type thing is just weird to me. Okay. You don't
force. It feels forced because like if you type in Derrick Jaxn mistresses, the two women it said there's at least 3, but the 2 women that pop up, I would not consider dark skin. I don't know. Maybe they were using a filter. Maybe they had on a lot of light ass foundation, but I would not consider either. And one of them had a very Hispanic last name.
Well, some of them didn't. I don't think were just mistresses, because she has been known to say that they had, not an open relationship, that they would share women. She would let him sleep with women knowingly. So some of them weren't mistresses. She knew about them and she knew how they looked or whatever. She passed by them. She had conversations with them. She didn't exactly agree with it, but she wanted to do it to keep him happy and to keep him from leaving. So it wasn't just he cheated and she didn't know. She knew some of these people. And maybe some of those women were dark skinned. I don't know. But I still think that's so weird to not put it on the man himself and to put it on your daughter, who you birthed. I mean, part of the DNA is from him and you. That has nothing to do with their personality. It's just weird. You don't want to.
It feels forced and convoluted because you're really trying to find a way to be upset at dark-skinned women and your dark-skinned daughter. But bitch, you married a dark-skinned man. Like, it's not making you so you don't want to leave him, even though he's cheating on you, and you feel like he's cheating on you with a direct type of woman. Your solution is to, I'm gonna be upset to my daughter. It just feels like you really had to find something to be upset about. It feels like you had to find an angle to be like, you made yourself a wicked stepmother right here.
Yeah. Well, it manifests itself to her because she can't put off that anger on him because he's gone now. So the next best thing is the daughter. But she got problems with that because that energy is just going to be transferred to something else. If it's not transferred to the daughter, it's going to be transferred to the next man who may happen to be dark-skinned, who may happen to have dark-skinned sons or daughters, or just the dark-skinned women, period. She may see a dark-skinned person at a store and may have ill feelings for, because that's who Derrick Jaxn messed with. And that, unless she does something to transfer that negative energy into something positive, it's going to go off the dark-skinned people forever. And that's how colorism exists. And that's how racism exists. When you have a bad situation that you don't stop and nip in the bud and turn it into something positive, it just travels to the next generation and travels to the next generation. That daughter, I'm glad she is nipping this in the bud now, but she's going to feel that. And she may even remember this conversation. Well, of course,
she's definitely, even if she doesn't remember it, it's going to live forever because it's on the internet.
And then she's going to probably transfer it to someone else, because not just from her, there's other people who do have negative energy for dark-skinned people or even light-skinned people or whatever, black people, period. She may want to just date white people now because of this, because of, damn, my own people, my own mother has an issue with me. Until she fixes this situation, this is going to hit her. And there's a all ringing in the background. Who's calling somebody?
Oh, not your warrior. It might be crazy.
Yeah, but this easily can follow itself into the next generation with the daughter if she doesn't nip this in the bud. And of course, this is the unfortunate thing. We're seeing this on social media. Is it's going to follow her forever. And she's going to see that, damn, my mom really did not like me. She really mistreated me because of something my dad did. That's the dumbest thing in history. In any kind of problem, mistreating someone else for the actions of someone else is stupid.
Because at the end of the day, this is your daughter still. Like, it's so base level to just see, well, he's cheating on me with dark-skinned women because he prefers dark-skinned women. So therefore, I'm going to take my anger out on this dark-skinned woman that is my daughter. Because you, like that, oh man, like
that'd be like if Derrick Jaxn was gay and he messed with men, and so I'm gonna mistreat my son. That don't make no damn sense.
Because you're still dating this dark-skinned man. You're still married to this dark-skinned man. You can't say that you're attracted to dark-skinned men but dislike dark-skinned women. Like that's this colorism thing that we have double standards on, that women practice and men practice. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, to take this out on your daughter simply because she is dark-skinned, you're being racist to your fucking daughter because she got it from her father, the person that actually hurt you.
Yeah. And this is what, kind of what the topic of the day is like, how issues of the parents can be transferred on to the kids, to the next generation. And
Sins of the father.
Yeah, sins of the father, and in this case, sins of the mother, or just sins of the parents. Because what Derek Jackson did, his energy transferred to her, and then her energy.
Yeah, because like we got to talk more about that. Like this woman's whole energy, her whole flow switched the fuck up. She was a devout Christian, Baptist, Methodist, Jehovah Witness ass woman. She got on the internet for the first time and said, "No, Jesus protects me. You all have duty in your souls." Like she really said, "No, I'm going to be above this, and I'm not going to give this any negativity." And then literally a year later, here she is, bonnet off, hair braided, makeup on. Like in the Bible, that'll literally tell you, like when a woman is making herself up, she's making herself up to do evil.
I didn't hear at any time in that interview her say she was completely wrong for that, taking accountability. I felt like she kind of brushed it aside with saying, well, God put this in front of me to, let me know what I was doing. I'm like, you did it though. Like, and that still is not going to solve the issue, because it won't. He was cheating on you. It was before. This just brought it to the limelight. You need to fix it from what happened to you. You were young. I guarantee you. It was something when she was a teenager or in single digits. Something happened to her to make it this way. It ain't.
I'll tell you what happened to her.
But why don't you just go get help? Just go get help and stop talking about it. Go get help. Obviously, I think that's what she needs. She needs help. Therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. She keep bringing it up. She keep talking about it. Why would you want your child to know you dislike her because of her color?
Therapy is going to tell her, I bet you the same thing. What's the root of the problem? It ain't Derek Jackson. I guarantee you it is something before she got in a relationship years before him. Insecurity, yes. But where did that insecurity come from?
Wow.
Because it has to be insecurity for her to just let him openly have relationships, openly have women sleeping in her bed, and she sleeps in that same bed later on that night and just be cool with it. Well, she wasn't cool with it, but she was just trying to keep a relationship going.
I'm gonna be honest, his daughter barely dark skinned. They both like.
I haven't seen it. I say, let me look up a picture. I meant to look.
I'm on his Instagram. His daughters are just chocolate little girl, like very milk chocolate little girls.
Let me look up a picture. I want to see.
Yeah, it's hearts over their faces. So, but yeah, I don't like.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's weird because you're adding an element of sexuality and promiscuity to this when it involves your children. These are, and let me see what because these are very young children. Like, so it's weird on her part all the way around. Like, it's weird. Because if you truly felt like, again, like if you truly felt like this 114 weeks ago, I hate that Instagram does stuff like that in the amount of weeks. But yeah, that's not a whole. Well, no, that's about 2 years. Okay, so I would say his kids are like 6 or 7 tops.
I got a picture. Shit.
So that means these kids were conceived long before he was out here cheating, or long before we knew he was out here cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So according to her, if she knew and she was a willing participant in some escapades with this shit, ma'am, you did this to yourself. God didn't do shit to you. God didn't put that baby in you. Derek Jackson did, and you let him do that. According to you, you knew that he had some extramarital affairs out here. And again, I truly don't think every single one of these women that he was fucking around with was dark skinned. Again, this woman I'm looking at right here, I don't even know her name, but it's like motherfucking Cortez Maldives or some shit. She got a Hispanic.
I haven't seen all the ones, but from what I've seen, I agree. Most of them, I haven't seen any dark skinned ones at all. But I don't know the ones that they were cool with coming in and out of the house, or the ones he was actually going outside of their agreement, I guess, to have sex with each other.
And if y'all had an open relationship, what the fuck are y'all complaining about? Like what? Like,
now you angry?
Is it because ain't nobody fucking you? Deny? Like, is it because you ain't got no niggas coming through that's pissing him off or making him feel insecure? Then maybe you should leave the situation.
That's I've seen that too. The sickness I've seen is kind of in that movie Precious, where I've seen some sick women where they do not like the relationship that a father has with the daughter. It could be a single daughter, just one daughter, that is, has a relationship with the daughter versus the relationship he has with the wife or girlfriend, just simply because he's giving her affection that she wants. I've seen that before. And that's just as sick, but that has nothing to do with that guy and nothing he can do besides just not pay attention to the daughter, which is the wrong thing too. Nothing he can do to change that, because that's a problem inside of her. That the root problem, I guarantee you, probably comes from her parents, and probably was passed on from the next generation like that. Didn't get love from the father, didn't get love from the mother because they felt jealous too.
Yeah, I feel like that's where it came. And on just the level of, you didn't get that kind of love from your father, so you're jealous that your daughter, and I don't think it's because the women he cheated on you with are dark-skinned. I'm gonna just say it. I think it's because he dark-skinned and you hate him because he the one that hurt you. Like, because that it makes no sense to, like, because again, I'm looking at this woman now, Candace, Candace de Maderios. This woman is not dark-skinned. This is who is Candace Demarios, meet Derek Jackson's rumored mistress, who said he sent her over $1,000 during their affair. This woman is light-skinned. This woman could literally play on a Major League Baseball team. She is that damn Dominican looking, with lighter tone Dominican, because I know they get dark too. But to make this about skin tone, I really feel like she's trying to say that she has a prejudice, but it's not because of the women. You have a prejudice because, this man that didn't give you the proper effect, or maybe he was giving you the proper affection at some point in time, and you're not getting it anymore. And guess who is? His daughters. Because without the only way this could actually have worked for her in any way is if she was exposing the fact that he was inappropriate with their daughters. Because that's the only reason this could be about him. This could be about him hurting you and hurting your family. But honestly, the way she explained it is, this is just you projecting. This is your insecurities about what you feel like his type is. And you feel like your daughter, don't just say his daughter, your daughter is getting more attention from him because she bears the resemblance of the same type of women that he was cheating on you with. You're basically saying that he's more attracted to his daughter than you, but you don't want to say that because you don't want to say that though, because then that'll change the whole story of what y'all are trying to do. That'll keep it from just colorism, and that'll make it child molestation. That'll make it super weird, and we would investigate him. But y'all trying to get to this bag together. You can't say nothing that'll incriminate this motherfucker and have people not want him to come onto their show and tell his side of the shit, because they'll just want to beat his ass or actually put him behind bars for the shit. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird, and I feel like like whoever wrote this story for them, if they'd probably be sitting around trying to craft this shit together, because they showed up to the same damn talk show. Like, was one of them waiting in the green room while the other one did their interview? Or did they take turn? Like, or is one of them sitting at the end of the couch and you couldn't see them because they wasn't in the shot? And then like, how the fuck is this going the fuck on? Like, imagine if Jay-Z, you know what? I can't even use a famous couple, because with people we know, we actually want to know what's going on with them. But with motherfuckers who literally, we only know Derek Jackson because he shoved himself down our face. He shoved himself down our timelines, and the people that, bought his shit shoved him down our timelines.
Still buying his stuff. Even after all this, he's proven and shown who he is. People are still buying his stuff
because they don't believe it. They choose not to believe what has been put in front of them. That is literally what people like. There's still people saying free support and make sure you buy R. Kelly's new album, even though we know that this man is a pisser. We would not endorse if one of your coworkers, one of your friends, someone you knew from around the way, even if they was the best hooper, the best singer, whatever the fuck, if you knew these motherfuckers and they did some ill shit, like sexually assault one of your family members, you don't give a fuck. You would want blood. You would want to whoop their ass. You would want them behind bars. But for people that we love too much, like a R. Kelly, like a motherfucking O.J. Simpson, goddamn, will say, well, no, honestly, it's the other people's fault. Let's blame the victims because they should have known better than to be victims in this situation. And these motherfuckers who still support Derek Jackson and are now supporting his wife, yeah, they're buying what is being sold to them. That, hey, I knew I was the relationship guru. I'm still the relationship guru, and the only reason it looks like I'm not perfect is because the person I was in a relationship with ain't perfect. So still, buy shit from me. Listen to me. I got good advice, and I got advice on shit you shouldn't want to be with, which is what he was giving us advice on anyway. Like, he never gave me no good advice. All the times I saw his videos get shared, it was literally just from women. They were saying, this is how my man needs to be. And it's really just, it's pandering. That's the word I'm looking for. He was pandering. And in order to keep that base, you got to pander to them even harder.
Yeah. I want to get to this point right quick. And, because we're talking about the sins of the mother or any father, depending on how you look at it. I want to hear examples that you guys may have seen in your lifestyle. Could be in your situation or someone else's situation that you've seen being passed on to children of the next generation, whether how a parent may have mistreated or they've mistreated their children and they've passed on those same basic ways of raising their children onto their children. Can you think of an example? Preezy, I'll let you go first on this one. Can you think of any example of parents in the past? It could be your parents, aunts, uncles, whatever. You see how they treated their children and bad behavior of how they treated their children, and they passed it on to their children of the next generation.
Well,
like abuse. It could, some sort of abuse. Maybe that maybe they had them talk to adults a certain way without respect. Maybe they did drugs in front of the kids and they pass it on to their kids or something. Anything.
I never seen that.
I have. Well, here we go.
I don't think I've never seen that. I might have seen. Okay, I've had friends that they were more of friends to their children than parents.
Okay.
And their kids, I used to say, that's not your homeboy. That's not your homegirl. Mm-hmm. You really should not, you have to be a parent first. And so, they're like, that's my daughter, that's my son. This is how we do. Guess what? When they turned 16 and 17, sons, suck my this, F you, all of that, because they didn't respect them. So I did see that. And I used to say, you see, but you don't like to say, you see, I told you so, but I said it. I said, had you been a parent first, and I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened, but the respect would have been there. And It wasn't because of the way they did. They was brought up. But now that I think about it, the parent wasn't respectful to their parents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was just like a revolving, it was just round and around and around. And then when it came to my parents, oh no, there was respect first. It was mommy and daddy first. True respect. And I think that's how my brothers and sisters are today. We, I want the respect first. I can be your friend, but I will be your parent first.
Right.
Yeah, I did see things like that, and it's a revolving door.
That's a good example. I think what has happened, a lot of people will talk about yesterday's generation, with, and usually it gets convoluted with spanking and beatings, whatever. And then the next generation like, well, there's a better way to raise my child. I'm not going to beat him, whatever. And, there's got to be a better way to discipline them, whatever. And then they hear other ways of talking to your child, like talk to them like this and talk to them softly, whatever. I can be their friend and still be their parent at the same time. What happens in the dynamic, which you were just mentioning, is if you view, this is just me, if you view your parent as a friend, then you're going to view every other person in a higher position as a friend too. Or you're going to not respect anybody in a higher position because you think you're on the same level as a kid. And especially as you get to adult, like nobody, what anybody has to say, someone is higher above you in position. Whether you got a judge, whether you got a boss, assistant manager, parent, uncle, grandfather, president, someone's in a higher position. Yeah, you should have respect, but people have gotten to a point where you don't automatically give certain positions respect. You got to earn my respect. And kids are like, you got to earn my respect from your parents. And that's his ass backwards. And if you don't learn that as a kid, you're definitely not going to have that implemented with you when you become an adult. So if you don't respect your own mother, and you should just hang out and
smoke weed,
cursing people. That's a pet peeve. Them videos where they got little kids saying "damn" and "mf" at 4 years old, and like, oh, that's so cute because he's acting like an adult that he shouldn't be acting like an adult or acting like the man of the house. And you're putting him in a position where he does not slowly get to grow into that position. You're putting him ahead of his years, and he'll just never learn how to grow into becoming a man. You stunted his growth by actually making him grow up too fast.
Yeah, he's gonna
Big Red, do you think it has a lot to do with the age too? Because you see a lot of these parents that are 34 years old. I'm not saying all, they silly. But I'm not saying that our age, I'm in my 50s. So I'm not saying 50 and 16-year-olds don't do it either. But do you notice, because somebody was talking about this the other day, do you notice that it'd be like the 30 and 40-year-olds? I'm just asking.
You mean the ones that having like kids at 12?
And the grandparents is 50, 49.
Yeah.
I mean, because in a way, it's like, these kids, they had kids when they were still kids. They didn't emotionally develop all the way yet.
That's a very good point. Yeah, they didn't get to finish out their childhood, and once the kid gets to a certain age, I've seen some of them to be trying to hang out with their kids. You know, when they become teenagers, like, hey, let's do teenage stuff. But like, hey, you're 38. You can't do teenage stuff with your teenage daughter because she's trying to learn to become a teenager. Your time is over. You made a mistake, although, you know, we hate you're in that situation, but them's the breaks. You got to live with your mistake. You got to move on and grow up. And yeah, unfortunately, that does happen a lot. And I think that is one of the reasons why grandmothers is a dead thing now, because grandmothers are now trying to hang out with the teenagers or just young 20 and 30-year-olds. So now you don't even have the grandmothers to watch the kids now.
Because a woman in her late 30s,
their granddaughters and daughters and sons or whatever.
A woman in her late 30s or early 40s is now no longer able to. That's really when a woman is in the sexual prime of her life, actually. So a woman in her late 30s and early 40s, if she has a daughter, she now has to worry about sacrificing more of her time in life if her daughter gets pregnant, because you, as the mother now, as the mature mother, you don't want your daughter to have to miss out on life because she made an ill decision and got pregnant early. But even though you're older, you're usually looking forward to, okay, my child is older now, so they can take care of themselves. But that also, you have to give them more freedom. And sometimes if you don't raise them well, if you don't take the proper precautions to make sure that they know how to respect their freedom, they're going to give it right back by giving it or getting pregnant and having to give up their freedom to being a parent at an earlier age than they should be. So now that late 30s, early 40-year-old, that mother is now a grandmother, and she's sacrificing her time and her enjoyment of actually being able to connect with her daughter that is coming into womanhood, because now you have to be a double mother and a grandmother because your child went out and got pregnant before they actually were no longer a child. And we see that happen most often with in our community more than any other community. And I will say, it happens more at younger ages because I don't know, I blame teen mom. I blame teen mom and 16 and pregnant.
Did you have an example?
I knew a young lady who was literally a prostitute because her mother was a prostitute, and her mother was a prostitute because her mother was a prostitute, and they all inhabited the same house together. doing the same things. Her
Yeah,
grandmother
that sound like
was a
Richard Pryor.
prostitute. Her grandmother was a prostitute that was also a drug addict that would leave her daughters with men. Her pimps, Johns would just leave her daughter with people that they shouldn't have been left with, and things happened to her daughters. She had multiple daughters, so where on, you know, some of them, you know, they went a different route. At least one of them is going to have the negative reaction of, because these sexual and violent things happened to me in my childhood, that's how I'm going to carry myself through life. And that got passed down to how she interacted with her daughter. I saw this woman do, the woman that was around my age, do coke with her mother while her child, the younger woman's, while her child was running around.
Wow, sad. Yeah. Well,
They all three had stories of, I not only got pregnant very young by a man who was way older than me, who I lied to about my age or simply didn't care about my age. And not only did I get pregnant young, I was still doing drugs while I was pregnant. All three of them had that story.
Well, if you watch the Richard Pryor story, Your Life Is Calling You, his grandmother was the madam. She ran the house. And his mom was one of the workers, the prostitute. He used to see his mom go in the room with the guys, and the father was outside cooking up the food and stuff. So he knew that his wife was a prostitute. The whole house, they ran like a whole big whorehouse. So he knew as a little kid. So, you know, learn behavior. When whatever you do in front of your children, and maybe whatever was done to you, not everybody, but sometimes you turn around and you do it, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
My mother was my best friend, but I respected her. I knew when my mother was serious, and I was 49 years old. My mother like, hey, you better watch your mouth. I pop you, and I knew when to shut up at 49. Right. So it's respect, and I don't think people have it. They don't. People don't. I also think people don't know how to. Anymore. They don't have respect in relationships. They don't have respect for their children.
They want it earned.
For their parents. Nobody has respect. I don't know what's going.
Because everyone is coming from a place of they were never given.
So kids see stuff. The kids seeing their father disrespecting mother and vice versa. Hey, they think it's right. No, okay.
I think it all comes from a place of everyone has that same response of, well, this is what happened to me when I was young. And I turned out fine. But how do you know that you did?
You got to do it. You listen, I was never a follower. When I did follow, I got my butt beat and I learned. You know, some kids learn, some kids don't. You know, I don't keep getting my butt beat, it hurt. So after a while, you got to start, finding other people to be around that's positive. I just think if you're around negative stuff, you're going to do it. If you're around positive stuff, you're going to do it. That's. So if you got negative parents, and we see them every day, what the kid's not gonna? I'm not gonna have respect for you, and you sitting on the porch smoking weed with me.
Not even just things like that, like in the aspect of friendship or being too nice or not stern enough with your parent, but just the aspects of the things we do and say around them, like when we constantly sit around and watch trash television, like if you're sitting around watching violent TV, just watching fucking Power. Just watching black people get shot all over the screen. If you're watching that in front of your child, that's all your child is going to want to watch. That's going to be their, or not their reality, but that's going to be the images, the first things they're seeing and latching onto. If you're a hateful kind of person and you say things like, these gay people or these F words or these this and these that, that's going to rub off onto your child. They're going to go to school and they're going to interact with people based upon how they've seen their parent interact. Like you're for a little boy, your mother is the first woman that you fall in love with. For a little girl, your father is the first man that you fall in love with. And both of these people teach you how to love and how to be loved, how to express yourself and how to conduct yourself amongst others. Because regardless, you go into the world, you're either going to meet a man or a woman. So you need to know how to interact with both of those people. And when you're exposed to your mother being a prostitute, being disrespected and assaulted by men, when you're exposed to your father being a drug addict or a drug dealer and being mad aggressive and mad violent towards people, even sometimes towards your mother, that's the way that you, not all the time, don't want to say this 100%, how people react when they see it, but it's more of a reason to go and get therapy and actually talk to a professional about these things, because the traumas that we witnessed as a child, if we don't have an active and positive outlet to express those things, we will enact them and act through them in some way, shape, or form. If something happened to you, if you were sexually assaulted in your childhood, unless you heal and reveal that, unless you reveal and heal that, you're going to have the way that you interact in sexual interactions is going to be a little, you're not just going to be able to have the same kind of sexual reactions as the rest of the world. You're going to have a little bit of a quirk. You're going to be maybe adverse to it, or some people, they just run straight into it. They expose themselves to it and they become nothing but sexual because they feel like from the earliest moment I can remember, I was nothing but sexualized. So there's these traumas that lie underneath and that come from our households. Everything starts in
Yeah, we got to do better, because even with music, you know, I had a thing on my show. Do you monitor your music of what you're listening to, knowing that the child is in the car? You know, change the channel sometime. Put on a little jazz. Put on Light FM. Put on some country. Put on some different type of music instead of all this sexual content. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I drove in the car with my mother and a song came on that was sexual, I changed the station. I'm a grown ass woman, and I still changed the station because of the respect I have for my mother. Yeah. If any song came on that was speaking pertaining to sex, I changed it because I felt funny.
Yeah, you'd be like, I don't know nothing about sex, mom.
Right. That's
you got that. It's that wall that's like, I don't know nothing about sex, mom. I don't know why.
Right. What you talking about?
I just like the song, mom. Jeez. I just like the way it sounds.
Putting it on the wall, throwing it on the floor. You know, Mom, don't listen to that. They talking about something else. But I would change the station because I would feel embarrassed. I don't know. I just felt like I don't want to listen to this in front of my mother.
It's honestly, you would feel like, let me show some respect, because inherently, emotionally, you know, the words that I'm hearing, even though this beat is fire, the words that I'm hearing are disrespectful. Right. Because so a lot of women have no problem shaking their ass to a song. Right. Shake that ass, bitch. But if your son,
why let the children listen to it, and then when they start singing it in front of people, now you feel embarrassed. Like, hey, stop saying that. But
like, imagine if your son just came in the room and said, "Hey, mommy, shake that ass, bitch."
One at a time.
Right. Why would you let them listen to this music, and then when they start singing the song, you're like, hey, don't say that word. Don't say that. But they don't play it.
Yeah.
Because something else. There's so many other. They got on Sirius Radio. They got the kids channel where the songs are fun, or they even got the Disney music. Let them listen to things like that.
Kids Bop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, we gotta really.
The reason we don't do that is because we would have to be involved in it. We would have to engage in it. We would have to show our kids want to do what they see us doing because we're the coolest people to them. When your child is young, they literally idolize you. That's why they have muffins for mom and donuts for dad. So even if you give them the Kids Bop, if they see you enjoying a particular kind of music, that's going to be the music that they want to enjoy because they want to be like mommy. They want to be like daddy. And a lot of parents, because they're having kids so young, they don't have the discipline and they don't have the consideration to say, you know what, let me turn my adult-oriented things off and put on some child-friendly things so that I can engage and interact with my child and raise them. Actually, some people are so because they're having their kids young, they're not done living their life yet. So they don't want to change the channel. I love this song. I love when Lil Boosie pours milk on these hoes, and I'm going to watch it on my phone. I don't care if my child is looking over I'm going to watch Love and Hip Hop, and I'm going to watch Power, and I'm going to watch these violent or sexual related things. And I'm just going to tell my child to look away or send them to the other room. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I was a very sneaky child because a child is naturally curious. If you are telling me there is something that you don't want me to see, my little child brain goes like, oh, I got to see that shit then. Like that's just how we're fucking wired. And some parents just don't, they decide, they feel like this is where I think the friend element comes in, where, yeah, you don't separate the things that are for you as an adult from the things that are for your child. And you don't enforce child appropriate things for your child. We literally try to enforce celebrities and our entertainers to be more child friendly. Like the fact that we got mad at Cardi B for making a song called WAP. Why did we buy the album of a stripper if that's what we're like? If we're so upset about the fact that she's stripping and bumping coochies on stage, why did we consume that material? Like, she's going to turn off WAP when her daughter comes into the room. Why don't you, as a parent? Because you don't want to stop living your life. You don't want to interrupt your fun. You don't want to feel like just like with the we always get back to this motherfucking Keke Palmer. Just like with Keke Palmer, you don't want to feel like because I'm a mom, because I'm a mother, that you gotta stop being sexy, that you gotta stop being out here in these streets, that you gotta stop being everywhere where everyone is at. But the thing is, you do. If you truly respect yourself, like, it's not just about your child showing you respect because you told them to do something. A child, everyone knows that respect is a two-way street. You have to teach them respect. If I see you getting smacked in the face and not standing up for yourself as a man, if I saw my dad get his ass beat, just like Kevin Hart said, I can't respect you after that. It's going to be hard because I know that there's somebody else out there that I can go and get to handle you if I don't like the way you're handling me. Oh, so you're going to go and get Kevin. You're going to go and give me the trash. I'll take it out. I'll take it out. Come in. I'll take you. It's something else. It's like, you're not going to respect your mother if you watch her dance to music that is literally calling her a bitch and a hoe and a slut and shit like that. You're not going to watch your mother or respect your mother in a male or female sense if you see men interact with her that don't have to respect her, but she goes out of her way to keep these men happy for some way, shape, or form. You're not.
This is why it's such harder today to even raise kids today, because I hate when people always talk about, don't let your children be raised by the music. Well, the music, it's not like the music is so much different from when I was growing up. It just has more avenues to be viewed. We didn't have social media. We didn't have TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, millions of MTV channels and BET channels. Now, there's more than 3
MTV channels now.
So now, yeah, exactly. And there's other channels I even named, Pluto TV, whatever, to view these music videos. If your parent who is trying to be your friend, to your point, both of you guys' point, and you're listening to the same music that she is listening to, and the culture today, the music that's playing today is trash, and your mother is regurgitating, your father's regurgitating the same music and the same ideals that come with that music, and you're trying to have them be their friend, then the music is raising them. The industry is raising them. Hell, it's raising the parent.
Yeah, I'm about to say that it's the music that we were raised by. Well, my generation, I would probably say, is the first generation that actually, no, I'd say motherfuckers in the 80s, like, especially with the emergence of pop. Actually, no, I'd say before that, they was trying to raise y'all with disco too and all that shit. They was definitely trying to get y'all. Music has always been something that the powers that be have used to infiltrate counterculture.
But the thing is, when parents were against certain types of music, you had a foundation. You had a foundation to go back to. You're like, well, my parent doesn't exactly agree with some of the stuff they're talking about in the music. I may follow the music, but at some point, when I mature a little bit better and I have a kid, I'm gonna look back at my parent and why they didn't agree with the music. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? This music is dangerous to me and it's dangerous to my child. So I'm not going to raise them to listen to certain music until they can make up their own mind when they turn a teenager and become 20-year-olds. Now it's come to the fact, like I said, the parent and the kid are listening to the same music, even in their 50s, seeing grandmas going to the club, like I said, with their granddaughters and grandsons and sons and daughters and stuff like that. That's not how it used to be. They used to listen to their own music from their own era, and the good music on top of that. But today's music, it's just different. They have, I can't say all the music is trash, but that's the music that's being pushed to the forefront. There's not enough different kinds of genres that has good music and bad music. Like I said, we had Little Kim, we had Foxy Brown, but we also had Queen Latifah. We also had Lauryn Hill, Moni in the Middle, and all that type of stuff. We had different avenues, so we could
see the women like Lauryn Hill only gave us one album.
Music. So we don't have that today. Kids can't rest from the bad music. It's just all bad music. They don't have
the market has been oversaturated with music that is meant to program and condition the next group of children to be people who are concerned with buying the most expensive jewelry, to be the next group of people that's concerned with buying the most expensive Gucci or Prada or whatever, or Louis Vuitton, whatever the fuck. It's meant to groom us into being the next generation of consumers, because
it's not like we didn't have that before. We had that before, but we had different avenues of music to listen to. We had a way to get away from it. You know, music was supposed to be a way to get away from bad things and feel good about it. But what are you getting away from when the music is telling you to denigrate yourself, women and men? What are you getting away from? How are you having that release, that stressful release, when it's telling you to actually be more stressful, be toxic? Like what was her name? Glorilla was saying that be toxic in your 20s is what she was saying.
Gloria, hallelujah. Like literally living in the opposite purpose of your damn name. I was watching a YouTube video that the industry, because the reason these bad things keep reemerging, like we don't see as many Lauryn Hills, we don't see as many Moni and Loves, or Queen Latifahs anymore. Just like the industry loved Tupac because he was like the biggest star. He was a movie star. The men wanted to be him. The ladies wanted to be with him. Like you could sell the fuck out of that. The one thing they didn't like about Tupac is that you said you're related to who? Black Panthers. Thought we killed all of them. Okay. So to make a long story short, the industry has always been trying to sell us this image of the thugged out rapper, because that's like the coolest thing to be. That's literally what men want to be, or that's what they want us men to be, and that's what they want our women to be with, because that is a path that leads you to the same one that Tupac ended up on, self-destruction. That is the same one that leads you to not making it to see your 21st, your 25th, or your 30th birthday. And yeah, the music that is hyper violent and hypersexual, it's either going to lead you to death or procreating children at these young ages that this music is still relevant to you. Because here's the reason they tell people to, wait to have children. You're still emotionally developing. Even when you're 18, even when you're 21, even when you're 25, you haven't reached your emotional peak yet. A person is always growing and developing. And until you grow out of certain things, you should not have a child. And we as a people haven't seen how we need to grow out of listening to hyper-violent, hypersexual music. We as a people haven't decided that we need to grow out of spending our money on overpriced jewelry and overpriced clothing. Or I literally just saw a fucking post of a woman that quit her job because her leave got denied so that she could go see Beyonce. You wasn't trying to leave to go on a vacation to explore, to add to yourself as a person. You wasn't trying to leave to take some actual personal time so that you could build yourself to where you never have to come back to this job. You mad that they denied your leave so that you couldn't spend $6,000 to go see Beyonce. But you showed up anyway because you quit. And now you $6,000 in the hole, but you saw Beyonce. Beyonce is not about to quit her job to show up to see y'all at IGA. Like,
nope.
I don't get that. Like, I don't. And she made a sign about it. Like, she literally made a sign that said, "I quit my job to come see Beyonce." Or no, my PTO got denied. It's not paid time off if you got denied. My PTO got denied, or no, just my time off got denied. So I quit my job. This job will not break my soul.
Oh my God.
That's what you're calling breaking your soul. That is literally a direct representation of how we have been raised by music to be the ultimate consumers. You literally put yourself into financial strain just so you could go see Beyonce. You got rid of your source of income so that you could give it to someone that makes you feel like you're on top of the world. And I'm sorry, I'm just not a concert person. Like I love seeing people live and shit, but I hate being around a bunch of people at once. Like I know some people sound really good in person, but how good does it sound if there's like 20,000 people around you? Beyonce! Oh my God, girl, you sing it! Like how are you enjoying yourself that way? You paid $6,000 to hear other people scream over Beyonce singing. I want to say the tickets started at like $1,500 or some shit, which is wild. Like you could literally invest in yourself so much for like we could if you decided to quit your job and take $6,000 to do something to make sure that you never have to go back to that job. That's a whole nother thing. And more of us need to do that. But we're literally just taking our money and saying, fuck you to I hate to say the establishment, but to our ways of taking care of ourselves, just so we can go, quote unquote, take care of ourselves in very superficial, unbeneficial, and show off the ass ways. People was literally spending damn near $1,500 on a picture with Chris Brown. Music is right.
Yeah, during this concert, yeah.
Because again, it's literally just something to consume. It's just something to add to your social media for your value. You feel like it's adding to your value, but it's not. Like it's adding to
your gold chain. It's adding a picture, so it adds to your value because you're gonna show that picture off to your friends. Like, look what I got. I'm better than you.
Yeah, if you got a picture with a banging ass gold chain, shit. Like, in matter of fact, you don't even need to. Like, I've seen motherfuckers do this. They'll literally put on somebody else's chain, or put on somebody else's hat, put on something of somebody else's. Or be in the store wearing rappers. Me and my girl were just talking about that. It was like, because
TV cribs. That's all.
Like, literally selling us a false lifestyle. And not to say that some of these people don't have money, but do you think you actually get wealthy spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on diamonds that probably only cost hundreds to get and produce?
Some of them ain't even real.
It's because those artists are also getting paid by that jeweler. Hey, promote my business. I see that you got like 1 million followers. Put on some of this jewelry, hop in the music video. You know what I'm saying? Have me in the video, shout me out in the song, and my business is going boom. And I'll hook you up with all the fake jewelry that you need to appear fly.
Some of them not even real, LT. They'll wear some fake jewelry just to put off the impression that they got that kind of money.
And I wouldn't even, if that's what you want to do to elevate yourself, that's stupid. That's dumb, because I don't agree with it, because it's the image that we sell to each other. Like, I've never seen any of the boy bands that me and my sister used to follow back in the day try to sell me gold chains or Nikes or fucking liquor.
Let's get back to a minute about the parents thing. So I'll say another example that does get passed on to the next generation is how to deal with future relationships. And you can say both people can be a part of that issue. If there's not two parents in the household, if one parent is, dogging the other parent, if the mother is dogging the father and the father is dogging the mother, saying, the father ain't shit for not being around, or Derek Jackson's case, cheating around on his mom, the kid sees this, and a lot of times the kid will see that and they'll grow up and they'll say, I won't be that way. We can even say somebody who abuses the mother. That's and the son will say, I will not be this way. Whenever I get a girlfriend, whatever, I'm going to be the total opposite of that. And I've seen it happen a lot of times. They get in that situation that the father was in and they let things fly and they end up hitting their wife. And it was like, why would I do this? When I saw all the things that my mother went through, why am I doing this? It's ingrained in them. They don't even understand why they're doing that. I've seen that happen a lot of times.
Honestly, that's the same situation Chris Brown came from. I remember Chris Brown was
exactly.
He said that he watched his father and some of his stepfathers beat his mother, and I remember him in the little interview saying,
he thought that was a norm.
Yeah, but he said he would never do that. I remember, like, in one of his early interviews, he said that, he would never do that. That's something I would never do. Then obviously after 2009, when that shit happened, and he was able to give us more information on why that happened. That's when he finally was more honest and was like, yeah, actually that shit did have an effect on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you're young, when you're a little bubblegum pop star, they won't let you say things like, yeah, I think I need to go to therapy. I don't think I should be thrusted into the public eye. I shouldn't be dancing and smiling because I have some emotional things that I should work on. Every teenager does. Every young person does. And I don't want to blame his mother for any of this, because I truly think he was just following his dreams to be a famous and successful person, a dancer, singer, and all that shit. But Yeah, a child doesn't need to deal with things in the public eye. I think it's really inconsiderate when parents like Derek and Danae. I fucking hate the fact that their names are kind of cute together. Fucking Mark ass. But yeah, like you're very inconsiderate of how this is going to affect your family moving forward. You're really only thinking about you in this situation, how this is going to benefit your brand, how this is going to keep you relevant, how this is going to put money in your pocket in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
And
that's what I don't respect about that. Because again, they're going to see this later on. They're going to remember it.
like they're going to see this shit. And yeah, like what's to stop them from saying that, well, why should I stray from the family tree? Like why should I do anything or it's going to be like a family business kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? They'll either play along or they'll just want to run away from society altogether.
Yeah. The sense of the parents passed on to the kids. Yeah. All right. Preezy, did you have another example of something that you can think of how parents have passed on their behaviors onto their kids when they became grown?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I like I said, I've seen a lot. I think it's mostly a few of my friends. They, but I guess it's maybe how they raised, like friends that are passive. I think that children don't need passive behavior, and I'm not saying aggressive behavior, but there's a time to be passive, and there's a time to be. Let's not even say
what do you mean by passive?
I mean assertive. Well, I think when it comes to boys, women can do but so much when it comes to boys. You can't teach them to be a man. You can't teach them to respect women and, this is what you do. You open the doors, you do this. Yes, thank you. No, ma'am. Yes. Those are things that we could teach and to guide them into respecting. But to be a man, you really need to have a man around. But it doesn't mean that every man is a man or every father, or, you know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about those good parents. I'm not talking about the ones that come outside and be like, yo, son, hit this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about because you have them. I'm talking about
like a lot of niggas say they're in gangs because their daddy was in a gang.
Let her finish.
When kids, little boys can act up and the dad see it. Hey, what are you doing? What did mommy tell you to do? Didn't she tell you to go to bed? Then get to bed. I'm talking about stuff like that. So you need a man, and I don't want to say because people come in, you don't need a man. You need
yes, you do.
You need that male mentor. Put it like that. You need that man figure, that male.
You need a man there.
Young boys need men. That's all I can, because as women, like I said, we can do but so much, but we cannot make them men. We can't show them how to be a man. Just like if a father we have a lot of single fathers out here and they have daughters. Now he can teach her not, you don't allow a person to do this to you, but he cannot teach her to be a woman.
Nope.
Yeah.
So that's why
exactly.
We need that balance, and we don't have it. And I'm not saying because my mom, not to bring her up, but my dad died at 56. That's young, and my mother was 50, raising 5 kids. She did a wonderful job because to me, I felt like my mom was raised in the South. You know how they was talking South. Get switched, and you sneeze wrong, you getting a spanking. Go on out there and get that switch. I ain't playing. Go get that belt. So my mom became like both parents, but she still couldn't teach my brothers how to be men because you remember my brothers. The only good thing was they were older. It was just me and my brother that was like, I was 12, he was 13. So my mother couldn't teach my 13-year-old brother how to be a man. So my brothers had to step up. So that's what I'm saying. It's so important to have that because even if they don't do right in life, you can always say, listen, we tried. You know, I tried to give them the guidance, the best guidance that I was taught. But sometimes if you ain't taught right, that's what you're going to teach.
Pretty, and I'm going to dance on that comment right quick. And you said something very interesting. You know, if the roles were reversed and a guy was trying to raise a daughter, you know, can a man teach his daughter to be a woman? And I think most people would say 100% no. He can tell her things that a woman should do, but most people say not put a woman in her life to teach her properly how to be a woman. And
I think, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to say you need to put a woman in her life. You can put a foundation.
Right.
She needs to
That's
see.
that word. That's that word.
Yeah, she needs to see and emulate what another woman does. It's like you reading a book, you know, reading a book how to drive a car. But if you never see how a car works in person, it just doesn't compute. You can get in a car and read all the books you want to, but I guarantee you're not going to know how to use that car unless you see someone drive that car. Once you see it a couple times, then the foundation starts to click. So I think it's the same way. Now, it may take you a while longer to learn how to drive that car based off of you just reading the book and not, you know, seeing someone how to drive it. But I think that's the same thing that happens with some men who are given a foundation by women. It's not that no man can learn how to become a man, you know, with a mother raising him. He's still going to look at how other men are acting, but these may be the wrong men following. If he's following a right father figure, he has a better chance to be a better member of society. So it can happen, but more chances than not, he's going to miss something. And a lot of times when women say that, like, oh, we don't need a man to teach him how to be a man, usually there's something wrong with their relationship with men, whether their father abandoned them or they've had bad relationships with men that they dated or the baby daddy they don't care about. Usually that's the reason why they say that. It's not because they really believe that. It's usually a root problem, just like Danae Jackson. She don't believe it has anything to do with Derek Jackson, you know, dating and cheating on her with dark-skinned women. It's a root problem that happened before this situation. Same thing with women who say, oh, you don't need a man. There's no way possible you can believe that unless something affected you with a man in your past.
Can I play something real quick that this sister said as to why our young boys, when women try to teach them to, I'm gonna see if I can play this real quick. Hold on, because this is excellent.
It's what he said. Why is the mamas raising their daughters along their sons? And I think we got to look at that because that's very deep-seated when we're talking about things starting at home. Because a lot of women start negating their daughters because they start seeing themselves in their daughters. And that starts to be a conflict with their daughter. So now you got to wash the dishes. Now you got to clean. It was like a form of punishment to where the boys are being bred to be lazy because she desires the love of a man, or she might not have her father in her life. So there's an attraction with what she didn't get with the masculine energy in her young life. She actually is pulling on that or allowing lackadaisicalness to be bred in her son to kind of like give him a pass, not thinking that what the video said is he's going to be someone's husband. And so we have to be raising these boys for our young girls, our young nieces, our young cousins, not raising them for us. Like you said, they don't belong firsthand.
So what she's saying, I think she's saying is that mothers are being a little bit more passive toward their sons. Maybe they could be lacking. Maybe they didn't get the love or affection from man, so they become more passive towards their sons, but more assertive to the girls.
Mm-hmm. That happens. I also see it happen the opposite way.
I know somebody who is more assertive to her daughters, but yet she's passive to her little son, and I think it's wrong because you are not allowing him to do the things that he should be doing. And even though he's only 9 or 10, he should be doing chores. He should be doing things in the house and taking out the garbage and just doing things. But yet you'll get on your daughters who are a little older you'll get on them, but you're not really raising him. To me, you're not raising him right, because he should be taking responsibility. You should start him off now. And
they've never seen a man take responsibility, so they don't know how to teach a man to take responsibility.
Right.
You know what else?
That's going to cause a problem with her son, because she is too passive with him. And
you're teaching him that this is women's work. You're teaching him that women are the ones to do chores. Women are the ones that have to do things around the house. Women are the ones to do that. And what I need in a woman when I grow up is a woman that will enable that for me, is a woman who does the kind of cooking and cleaning that my sister had to do when I was younger, and that literally ignores all my bullshit the way my mom did. And yeah, I think it's an Oedipus complex kind of thing. And I think it's more so, it breeds an Oedipus complex in a young man. It breeds, and for those who don't know what the Oedipus complex is, it's Jody from Baby Boy. It's the Baby Boy complex.
That's a good comparison there. Yeah.
Where the young man doesn't want to leave the nest, or isn't appropriately equipped to leave the nest and actually be a man on his own, because either inadvertently or sometimes directly, the mother stunts his growth by not demanding that he be a man. And I get it. As a woman, there's only but so much you can do. That's why it has to be acknowledged that men are needed. Regardless if you had a terrible relationship with your father, you got to come to terms with that, because if he didn't bust a nut in your mom, you wouldn't be here. So you needed him to exist. You might have survived without him. You might have been taken care of without him, but you did need him to exist. If you got pregnant by you have to get pregnant by a man. You didn't get pregnant by a woman. So you needed this man to either please you sexually or to give you some type of company, whether it be physical or emotional. You needed that. And if you wanted that child, you needed that man's seed to make this child happen. So either way, the man is needed. If you got rid of men, you'd die off, because you wouldn't be able to procreate. So to think that to tell yourself you don't need a man in a situation where you're raising a child, that's 100% an emotional response. And it's an emotional response because of the emotional trauma that men have done to you. Because I don't think any man ever would say, I don't need a woman to help me raise a child. Yes, the fuck we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we think we can do it on our own? Yeah. But do we know we need women around? Yeah, because I'm also the breadwinner. Like, if I'm taking care of my child, children aren't cheap. I got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is going to watch my child? I got to make more money for that. Or it would be ideal if, I don't know, the woman that I made this child with was here, raising and taking care of our child. Not a nanny, not a sitter, not someone who doesn't share the same ideals, beliefs, emotional components that I do, not the person that I made this child with. The people that I think it's incredibly asinine to think that the person that you made your child with is not needed in raising your child. That's literally like saying if you and this person were living in a situation together where you paid half on something and they paid half on something and they left, yeah, you could do it on your own. But wouldn't help be nice? Wouldn't help be the best? Because then you have to operate in your feminine energy and your masculine energy. And that's just going to rub everyone the wrong way. Like, so many women grow up feeling like they have to be in their masculine energy because they've watched their mother in their masculine energy. I watched my mother cook and clean and do this and work 3 jobs and take care of this and take care of that. So you feel as though you got to be out there with 3 jobs, taking care of this and taking care of that. As a woman, you honestly shouldn't be. The world is not safe. The world is dangerous, and women are getting abducted and sexually trafficked. That's why we honestly, the thing that a man wants the most is to have my woman in the house, safe, away from the dangers of the world. I'll go out here and hunt. I'll go out here and track down the wildebeest to bring back to the fucking cave. But I want my woman at the home watching my children. Because when my son gets of age, I'm going to bring him out here so that he can one day do this for being taught in our households. There is no, because sometimes there is a man in the household, but because that woman is so desperate to just have a man there, it's a negative man. It's a drug dealer. You want him here because there's a financial aspect. There's a gangbanger. You want him here because there's a protection aspect. And sometimes when there's no man, the last resort is the son. then I'm going to groom this young man to be pretty much never leave my side, always need me. And I think at a certain point, women always get frustrated with that, because once he grows up, and you can't fuck your son. You can't fuck him. You can't emotionally attach yourself to your son the way that some women do. Like, I've seen videos where women were twerking and their son comes in the room and they think it's so cute that their son is enamored with their twerking ass. I've seen that on like a Facebook story.
I'm gonna tell you something that's missing. If you go to a job, you work for a job, if it's going to be deemed successful and you're working with a group of people, let's just say Lowe's, you got all these employees in there, I don't know, hundreds of employees in there, and you have everybody looking out for themselves, working on their own project, not coming together for the common cause of the store, which is to be successful. You don't have anyone helping anybody. Everyone is working on their own to try to just build themselves up. If there's no team building, more than likely the company is not going to be successful. In a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, if everyone is doing things on their own, they're looking out for themselves, the restaurant will not be successful. There's no team building within families. And what I mean by that is no one is teaching either their daughter or their son how to be a team player with their husband or wife, or future husband or wife. Nobody's telling the daughter how to treat a man, how to let a man be a man. And nobody's treating the son how to treat your wife or future wife, how to treat your woman in the future, and how to build a family, or in other words, a team to help build a legacy going forward, and then building another legacy with the next generation, or building generational wealth. We're all teaching our children how to live in solitude, how to do things on your own instead of team building.
Or for me,
none of that being taught anymore amongst the parents to the children. No one is saying, well, this is how you're going to make your husband happy. This is how you're going to make your wife happy. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to learn. This is the kind of job you need to do. This is how you put to rear your children when you're with him. This is how you put to rear your children when you're with her. There's nothing but solitude being taught. Independence is the number one goal being taught among children today. And once they become adult, that's all that's taught. There's no team building involved in raising children anymore.
Because they don't know what it looks like. How as a I don't know too many men that are married, especially even in my age bracket. I don't know too many. And yeah, the music, back to the music and the music they listen to, the things they watch, it's not promoting marriage. Turn it over to the women's side, the music they listen to and the things they watch, it's not promoting marriage. So no father is sitting his son down to tell him how to be good to his wife, because your father and your mom aren't together. They not married. They both got different last names. She got a whole boyfriend and shit. He got a whole girlfriend and shit. Your mother is not married to you. Like, how are you going to tell your daughter how to be good to a husband and you ain't got a husband? How you going to tell her about some shit that you ain't even got? And she going to look at you like that and say, you telling me all this, where your husband at? That's where it's going to get. And it's because we as a culture, we don't care about these things anymore. We made ourselves like, yeah, we talked ourselves. I see the posts all the time. Man, what's really in the marriage for us? If the women leave, they get this and they get that. And it's like, yeah, that is you could also get a prenup. You get a prenuptial agreement. These kind of things exist. Well, ain't no woman gonna say, okay, see, that's you talking yourself out of marriage. We don't know how to teach our children to be a part of a team because we didn't create them as a part of a team. Like a lot of our kids, we honestly need to be honest. A lot of these kids now were created because of, I hate to say it, a mistake, because y'all made a mistake. You thought you were going to be with this person. You believe what they were telling you, or it was really just some slip. I didn't pull out in time. I didn't want him to pull out. We thought like it was like these children have literally come about off of sneaky links, off of Netflix and chill, off of us just interacting with each other in sexual ways, not caring to interact with each other in emotional ways, and not caring to actually evolve and progress the way that we interact with each other in a marital way. So now we're raising our children in situations where we're still individuals. And not even individuals, we're still trying to figure ourselves out as individuals. Because so many people are in situations where they're just having kids just to not be lonely. Because you think that that's the only way that you can feel and experience joy, is if you have company, or is if you have someone emotionally bonded and attached to you. Because I honestly do think some people just have kids because, yeah, all those traumas that you felt all over through your life, through your childhood, being told you can't do this or you have to listen to this because I'm your parent and you're the child. Some people just love being able to do that to their kid. Some people just love being able to do that to someone. It gives you a certain amount of power or control that you feel like you lacked in your childhood or in previous relationships.
True. Very true. All right. Anyone else have anything to add to it?
I hope their kids go on a smear campaign I hope the daughters band together to talk shit about both of their parents. Since both of our parents want to be out here talking shit about each other, maybe we should get some kid money, try to fund our little Disney Channel trip, and talk shit about our parents. So I know they can get a spot on No Jumper.
Oh, definitely. But on No Jumper, they got to have sex when they go on that show nowadays.
Give them like 10 years.
It'll happen.
In these circumstances, give them like 10 years. Like literally, Chloe Bailey went from Disney Channel to getting her cheeks clapped in a Tubi movie.
You talking about that? What is that? The Bees? What was that? What was that name of the movie?
Never saw it. Just scrolled by a clip of it on Twitter and decided, no, this isn't for me. I mean, nice cheeks and everything, but
that was on. It was on Tubi, believe it or not. That was like
it was.
That was on like Hulu because I saw the TV series you're talking about, which was pretty much loosely based on Beyonce fans. I saw it. Yeah,
Beyonce fans got a series.
Yeah, let me see the name of it because it's based off of the Beehive.
That crazy girl.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, conspiracy theorists had going on.
She was killing.
It's wild that this is a thing based upon how Beehive members act, and Chloe Bailey is definitely working very closely with Beyonce. Yeah. Why would Beyonce want you to be in a movie about the Beehive where you, as the biggest star in the movie, probably a former child star, is literally setting yourself up to not be respected in the future interactions that you may have with significant others and with your potential children?
Yeah, the show, the TV series was called Swarm. That's what it was called, and it was
Beyonce ain't never had to be in the movie getting her cheeks clapped on screen to pop the fuck off. Yeah, but she's okay with you doing that.
Yeah, she ain't Beyonce though.
She loved to tell us that she worked closely with Beyonce though. Every interview is like, well, when me and Beyonce, I just call her B, we're in rehearsals and shit. Like, okay, so when she was in rehearsals, was she telling you that's how she throws it back for Sean?
I suppose so. All right, let's move on from that.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
All right, so let's see, Preezy. Let's see.
That's my man. That was my man.
Yeah, Yul Brynner.
Yeah.
10 Commandments. All right, we're going. Since I got you on here now.
Yeah, but he was fine. Damn.
Anybody said that before, but. We're going to play this game right quick. I need both of you guys on the screen. So it's an important game. This is a knowledge-based game.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready for it? I need two people. We're going hopefully we have a winner. It's going to be like 4 questions unless all of you get them right. But whoever has the most points at the end is going to be declared the winner.
Let's get it.
And the game it's going to be called You Don't Know Shit.
Okay.
Are you ready for it? Can you get on screen for this one? Can you get on screen?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's start this game off. to pop up 4 questions. It's going to be multiple choice. And I want you guys to tell me what the right answer is when I pop the question up. And I'm going to tell you if the answer is right or wrong. I'm not going to tell you what category. It's going to be a random category. It's going to be about some Black history, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
All right. Let's see how much you actually know, or if you know anything. Maybe you don't know shit.
All right. I come to that conclusion all the time.
All right.
Me too.
All right. Here is the first question. Here we go. Who currently holds the record for the state with the highest percentage of single-dad homes? Is it A, Georgia, B, California, or C, Alaska?
I'm gonna go C.
All right, Lil Trent's gonna go with C. Who's what do you pick?
C, 7,000. Alex, R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
All right, Breezy, what did you pick? I didn't hear you.
I said A.
You say A. Okay, let's see. Let's see. LT, I'm going to go with you first. Let's see if you had the right or wrong answer. You pick C, Alaska.
Yeah.
If it's right, then LT's right. And then if it's wrong, then Breezy's wrong. Let's see if LT was right.
I meant C. I meant C.
Because that's the one that didn't
My
make any
mic.
sense to
What's
me.
my microphone?
Because the immediate thing that popped into my head, I was like,
He said,
I
"Was your
know.
microphone?"
It was my mic.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys heard me, but I said, I had said, I see the same answer that he.
Oh, right. Okay.
I see
You
what
got
you
another
did.
chance. You have another chance.
I don't know
Okay.
shit.
You may know shit on the next one. Let's see. LT
I
got
don't know.
one.
I should have stayed in school.
All I had to do was answer like, you know what? I think I know.
Oscar, did
So-
you know? Is there a reason behind the answer? Like,
Because I
Why
would
am
never
I
know
stuck?
that. So that's how I knew it was the answer, because I would never
why
know.
it's too cold for
that.
the brothers to be out there? What's up? Why is it?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
Well, you supposed to have an answer, man.
Yeah, we only have one answer because I don't know shit.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because Inuits and igloos or something. I don't know.
All right, let's go with the next question. Question number 2.
never thought Alaska.
All right, which one of the items was not invented by a Black person? Is it A, the washing machine? Is it B, ice cream scooper? Or is it C, traffic light? All right, do your time to think about it.
Listen, I don't know. No, I don't know this shit. So I'm gonna go with B.
All right, you're gonna go with B.
Word, hell yeah, word.
What are you gonna go with, Breezy?
Oh man, I really don't know shit.
I don't know this shit neither, but because I don't know it, I don't know that it's not B. So
Breezy, what do you pick? What do you pick?
And I read so much on our papers, but I ain't never heard they made no ice cream scooper. I'm gonna go with B too.
You're gonna go with B. All right, let's see. Well, let's see if both of you gonna have the answer right on here. Let's see. Is it B? It is the washing machine.
And I was gonna
I was thinking
let me
that.
show you. Listen to your first instinct. See that?
But see, I felt like I knew
Listen to
that.
your first instinct because I read a lot. I read before on the inventors, the Black inventors, And I never saw the washing machine. So I don't know why I wouldn't even choose that.
They only want us to know about a couple of them.
Gotta listen to your first instinct.
Black people love ice cream.
Yeah, it was a black fan. He made it in 1897.
There you go. And traffic light, of course, that one probably most people know that one. All right, let's go with this next question. Question number 3.
Question number motherfucking 3.
Who was the first African American model to be featured on the cover of GQ magazine? Was it Tyra Banks? Was it Iman? Or was it Steve? Naomi Campbell?
Damn, all these three like from the same damn era. They all came out like the same year.
All right.
Shit.
Quickly tell me what your answer is. LT Preezy, what's your answer?
Shit. I'm gonna go with T Banks.
I'm gonna go with Naomi.
All right, going with Naomi. Nancy and LT said T Banks.
Hillary Banks. Will you marry?
All right, let's see. Was LT correct? So I had this too this way. LT, you are correct.
Did I tell you I was gonna say Tiger? Damn.
Yeah, that boy, I got higher
I know
learning.
shit 3 times. Damn, that don't make no sense.
Higher learning in this
Take me to
motherfucker.
the king. Oh God.
All right, we got one more question. To pop up here.
The character in Higher
Big
Learning
money.
actually
Big money.
survived, moved to LA, and started working at the Peacock. Little do you know.
Fresh Prince. All right, here's the 4th and final question. Future is the name of which famous American singer/rapper? Is it A. Nevadius Demon Wilborn, B. Marcus Ellis Perkins, or C. Gerard Jermaine Johnson?
Oh, I know this one because of the I'm Too Sexy video. The answer is A.
I'm gonna say that.
All right, you both got both of you going with A?
Yep, he definitely got a name that fit exactly everything that he talked about.
All right, let's see. Are both of you right on this answer? Let's see. Are you correct or wrong? You are correct. Weird name. Nevadius Demon Wilborn is known as Future, the singer/rapper.
Yeah.
Would have never guessed that. All right, so with that being said, let's see the score. Crazy, you had 1.
7.
7.
7.
And LT had 3. So
Yes.
now 3 is going to trump 7 on this one. So
No.
LT,
No.
you are the hostile one. Congratulations.
I did this for Palestine. I did this for Uncle Nubia. Happy belated birthday to Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther Party will rise again.
He had the answer key right in front of him. He cheated.
The only key I got is the major key. And the 19
really?
All right.
That would be on the next. That would be on the next episode.
The next episode, Preezy, you can go and you can win the trophy back. But LT
I'm
knows a little shit.
Yeah, so I'm the reigning champion right now. Goddamn, one game winning streak. So yeah, I just went out there. I gave my best performance. I know a lot of useless shit. I know that I don't know shit, and that's how I knew these things. A wise man knows that a wise man knows nothing.
All right, let's move on to the next subject matter. Alicia Keys.
I'm about to say Alicia Silverstone. She back?
No. We ain't talking about her and her breastfeeding her son still. Probably we're gonna talk about Alicia Keys. Somebody got a little bit more sense than her. Alicia Keys. There was a video that went around on the internet where her son was talking about her attire before she went to a concert. I don't know if it was her concert or somebody else that she was going to, but he didn't like how much of her body was being shown, let's just say. And he had something to say about that. And Alicia Keys made a statement to him about how she should let herself go out in the attire she was wearing. And he should be okay with that. And it was like he was defending her, like, Mom, you shouldn't go out in that kind of clothes because people are going to be looking at you and it's disrespectful and type of shit. But I'm going to play the video and let you see with yourself. And then we're going to get an opinion on how he responded to what she was wearing.
What's wrong?
The heart.
It's cool.
So everybody can see your boobs?
They can't. They just see a heart.
I've never seen somebody do that.
Well, you're only 8. The worst is going to be is this.
Okay. How about we do this? How about we do this?
You do the top. It's not a big deal. It's boobs. Everyone has boobs.
Yeah, let me put it back just. Let's see if we can get. Oh, okay. All right. I had a perfect spot right there. So he doesn't like her wearing this attire here. She's going to a concert. I don't know if it's her concert or what, but as you can see, there's some under boobs showing there. And I guess she's wearing pasties here. And he doesn't want her to possibly show the under boobs or whatever like her. And her response is like, it's just boobs. Everyone has boobs. And that's true. Everyone has boobs. But why do you I get it. This almost goes back to the damn Darius Jackson issue where he was like, you're a mom, you shouldn't be showing all that stuff, whatever.
See, this is super different because this is actually the child. This is the person who is telling you, this makes me feel, this is going to, like, this is the person that you should care about their opinion the most. Because the way you respond is going to form their opinion and their feelings about things.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let y'all guys talk about this right quick. You give me your opinion of how you think the boy came across thinking about this subject matter. And LT, I'll let you go first as soon as I can find it. I'm always losing the damn clock. Here we go. Give us your opinion on it.
Go!
I think he's reacting exactly how a little boy would be reacting to his mother leaving in something that he considers inappropriate. Like, to just respond to everyone has boobs is kind of dismissive. And we have to look at it from this angle too. This is Alicia Keys. These are Hollywood people, and they live a completely different standard of life than we do. And what is weird about it is I know other women will look at the outfit that she have on and say, well, she's covered up. You can't see anything. This is actually really mine. The thing is, no, it's not. Because imagine if a little girl showed up in your son's class like that. Like, and not even to say Alicia Keys has a whole bunch of busts, but this is your son coming to you and saying, I don't think you should wear that because it doesn't represent you in the best way. And usually when kids say that, it's because it doesn't represent me in the best way. I might go to school and get picked on about this. And what's weird is I've actually seen people, not with this video directly, but because other people plant their feelings onto it, how they feel like I should be allowed to wherever what the fuck I want to wear. That tells me you're not ready or mature enough for children because your life is no longer yours. But celebrities, they're in a different space because their life isn't theirs either. Their life is literally for our entertainment. So if we want to see Rihanna damn near naked, we don't give a fuck how long it's been since you had that baby. 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 hours, bitch. We want to see you sexy on Instagram again because that's what we want from this person. And we really never stop to think about what their children might want. Like, and they tell us that, you know, we want to be able to raise our children in privacy. When they do some things that we don't agree with their children, that's when they want to, you know, have their privacy. But yeah, this situation is a little boy trying to protect honor and dignity. And is that something that we should not want men to do? Is that something we should not, you know, let our little boys, our sons do?
Okay. Preezy, I'll let you go next. You tell us how you feel about the video.
Are you ready? Go!
What are you doing in the dressing room anyway? I mean, What are you gonna do? I don't know why that was posted. Well, is there a message behind that? Mommy can wear whatever she wants. Mommy's an entertainer. And maybe that should be explained, but I like the fact that he realized that the outfit is exposing mommy's boobies. So he knows that wearing that attire is not appropriate. But she is an entertainer, and I don't know why he's in the dressing room, why she's getting dressed or whatever. I mean, she was already dressed, but I don't know what was the reason why what was the purpose of the video? I mean, what was the message behind it? Did they ever say?
I mean, him being mad about what she was wearing, I guess.
Okay, well, I like the fact that he did acknowledge that she was exposing herself, and that he as a little boy, he knows that, hey, mommy, ladies, whatever, you're not supposed to be showing your tatas. So that was good. I mean, somebody's teaching him something, or he just knows that it's not right. I don't know why he was in there, and maybe she has to explain to him, there's mommy's an entertainer, and this is what entertainers do. I don't know, but people got to talk to their kids. Stop posting everything. Get tired of that. Just stop posting everything, because I don't know what the message was. That it's okay for mommy to show her tatas. It's not bad. Maybe might be bad for other women, but it's okay for mommy to do it. I don't know. Where's Swiss Beats? Where he at? Is Mick Sunday DJing? Where he at? Little boy should have been with Swiss Beats DJing. Come on now. What are you doing in the locker room? I mean, the dressing room with mommy getting dressed for the show. And this is Alicia Keys. She got a bad body. She's gonna show it. She's doing her stuff. So maybe she should sat down instead of posting it. That this is what adults do.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are you ready? Go!
Well, I guess she was trying to use this video as a teaching moment, but the teaching moment I got from it is, what do I always hear? And she was trying to elaborate towards the end, like, oh, they're just boobies. There's nothing sexual about it. Well, how did do you think your son is looking at your boobies as something sexual? I don't think he must not be. I don't think at 8 years old, however old he is, that he's looking at his mommy and her breast being shown as in a sexual manner. He's looking at it as, are you dressing in an appropriate manner so people are not looking at you in a disrespectful way? And, this is the clapback we always hear from men. It's like, you guys are always looking at it as sexual objects, and you can't control our bodies and stuff like that. And like, I understand you want your freedom to be able to do what you want, but with those freedoms comes with disingenuous people, dangerous people that are going to look at you like a meal and do want to cause you harm. Not the bad guys. I mean, not the good guys, but the bad guys that are going to look at you in a disrespectful manner. You have to be able to protect yourself. Don't put yourself in a compromising situation. And so again, if this little boy, however old he is, I'm pretty sure he's not thinking about sexual thoughts when it comes to his mama's dress or mama's outfit. He just wants her to present herself in an appropriate manner. He is protecting her. Maybe you think he's going overboard, but I don't think that could always be the argument when guys are saying the same thing. Grown men are saying the same thing. Hey, and Darius Jackson, for example, hey, you need to represent yourself and us and dress more appropriately wherever you go. Whether you're an entertainer or whether you're just a regular 9-to-5 mom, you're representing us now. If you are a single woman or single person, period, you can do what you want, but you representing the family here. And see, that's the problem with a lot of things is people don't understand that they're representing their family, so they dress how they want. They act how they want and don't know that it's going to fall back on other people. It's not just you that can be in danger. Your son could be worried about you and what happens to you when you're going out to these concerts. We're not trying to control you. We're trying to keep you safe from the riffraffs that are out there who don't have control and how to control their emotions. It's not a perfect world.
I think the grossest thing she did, because honestly, like it wasn't
About
her outfit wasn't super
around your child.
Yeah, like the thing that she did, she really just dismissed his feelings about it altogether. That was kind of strange. Like she just told him, "Well, you're 8. You don't know what you're talking about," or "It's just movies." Like you just dismissed it and belittled his feelings about things. When it's like, even though I'm 8, I have enough understanding of respect and self-respect to know that this is not a inappropriate reflection. And you're my mother. I should be able to voice that to you. Because yeah, like Darius Jackson saying something about Keke Palmer's outfit is one thing, because you could literally just choose to not be with this woman if you don't like the way that she dresses. But this is literally a little boy saying to his mother, "Mommy, I have an issue with the way." If anyone has the ability or the right to say something about the way their parent is dressing, it is the child. And yeah, I agree. Like, where the fuck is Swiss Beats at? Why is he backstage watching? I mean, yeah, she was already dressed, so I'm guessing he's just backstage chilling with her or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's a little weird that she didn't even try to validate his feelings. Like, she kind of just gaslit him a little bit to make him feel like, yeah, this is no big deal. It's a regular outfit. You're only 8. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, I know what that means. Like that, I didn't like seeing that from Alicia Keys. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that was a little weird. Like, because again, if your daughter was hanging around, I don't know if they have a daughter, but yeah, if you have a daughter that's, hanging around the father, and the father has his balls out, like, and we could say, well, titties aren't the same thing as balls, but they are a little bit. Like, women have a lot more, a lot more body parts that are considered private than men do. And the body, and here's where it's different. The body parts that men have that are considered private are 100% seen as sexual parts. We don't get to have our dicks out and say, "Oh, well, it's just fashion." You know what I'm saying? It's just, I just got a little midriff going down my thigh. Women are allowed to have cleavage. It's a part of their fashion to have cleavage out. It's a part of their fashion to have on tight, revealing clothes. So that's really just a societal standard of the bar being lower on what is deemed appropriate for women to leave the house wearing, because we're at a higher rate now that we're in hoe culture. And I do think there is an element of still people needing to be mindful of where they are in life when they have children, because your life is no longer yours anymore. And this is why it's different for celebrities. Your life was no longer yours the moment you signed that contract. The moment you decided that I'm going to be in 30 cities across motherfucking 30 days, the moment I decided I'm going to literally make my life these people entertainment and sell myself to these people. So you already have been living in a mindset of, my life is not my own. I literally do things either for publicity, or when I do something, it becomes publicity. But when you have children, it has to stop being that. And a lot of entertainers, what she didn't do, or what she could have done, was take the time to, yes, explain that, well, mommy is an entertainer. Mommy wears these things called costumes. Mommy has a wardrobe because mommy has an image to sell. That's when you have to tell your child about reality and falseness, because yeah, you have an image to sell. Like, don't nobody want to see Alicia Keys show up in a fucking muumuu with a bonnet on her head because she tired from being a mom. Because let's be honest, she not as tired as a regular mom. She may be working 10 or 12-hour days, but she's being driven around. She's in luxury. She has the best water. She has the best food. She's being slightly catered to as her child is being raised and taught things in the absolute lap of luxury. People on a regular level see this and latch on to this because, yeah, they had their child too young. They had their child before they were ready to stop living their lives, and that would be their response. You just need to do as I say, not as I do. Don't question me. I'm your parent. You're only this years old. It's not that big of a deal. You don't get it. And they move on about it because, yeah, I'm not going to stop dressing in the way that I feel is fashionable just because my child doesn't like it, or just because my significant other can't even say my significant other, my baby daddy doesn't like it, or just because you're going to still, like, we're very selfish creatures. And I feel like that was I'm not going to call her interaction right there selfish, because well, it is selfish because mainly you're thinking about your image. Like that was the main reason that you feel like you had to, or that she told her son that this is not a big deal, because honestly, it's for my image. And if I didn't do this, if I didn't appear places the way that people tell me to appear these places, you wouldn't have on those Jordans. You wouldn't have $1 million in a trust fund waiting for you somewhere already.
The irony I think about this is she says they're just boobies, and I know a lot of women's argument like we shouldn't look at it as a sexual thing, but at the same time, you use that sexual thing to make money off of for OnlyFans and strip clubs and music videos and stuff like that. It's only not a sexual object until you have to make money for it. You don't want to be objectified for it until you can make money for it. Then all of a sudden, it's a sexual object that you want to use for your financial reasons.
And that's gaslighting a little bit. That's very
manipulative. Only boobies, because then when he start, what about when he starts saying touching little girls or playing with them? You know, kind of playing. Oh, they're just boobies.
Exactly.
Mommy said they're just boobies.
You gotta explain. You know.
Exactly.
Like we tell women that develop a little bit faster, like young girls that develop a little bit faster. Like I hate seeing mothers that dress their young daughters in tight, slightly revealing clothing, especially in our community, because we as Black people, we develop a lot faster physically. So I know you want your daughter to be quote unquote cute, but that lets me know that you were either a young mother or an emotionally stunted person, or your emotional growth was stunted, and you don't see why it's inappropriate for your daughter to dress this way. And 9 times out of 10, it's because you're still dressing that way. You feel as though that, these parts of me aren't sexual until I need them to be. Like I know every woman feels like, or just wishes that they lived in a world where they could go outside either in their most comfortable attire or their most sexy attire and not feel a million eyes on them as soon as they step into the store, or not have the fear of a man wanting to take from, or sexually take something from them because of how much of their body that they just can't help that is shaped like this, but is revealing. The thing is, you can kind of take those precautions, like not to say you should never ever want to feel sexy or attractive, but it should never come at the expense of your dog. It should never come at the expense of your safety, and it should never come at the expense of the dignity and respect that is reflected upon you and your family.
I agree. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything else to say on that subject?
Where is Swizzy? Like, where the fuck? What was his reaction? Like,
he's making beats.
Still, like I have not heard him talk over the beginning of a song in so long. Like, I would literally have to. I really think DJ Khaled really just came through and took everybody out the game. Because did Swizz Beatz even have like compilation albums, or did he just produce for like the Rough Riders and shit?
I don't know. Do people do compilation albums anymore?
I mean, not compilations, but you know how DJ Khaled be having DJ Khaled albums, but it's like
mixtapes,
what are you doing? The actual albums, major keys. But
okay.
Yeah, like DJ Khaled has full-blown albums where it's literally just him yelling, DJ Khaled, and then like 6 other people rapping on this one song.
I don't know.
Or even tried to do the Birdman thing and have one of his artists write for him. Excuse me, the Eazy-E thing. Excuse me, the Kanye West thing. Excuse me, the Drake thing. Everyone has everyone writing.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Let's move on to the last subject for tonight. I'm gonna try to put this article on the screen, and so we can all read it in unison. Let me share the screen right quick.
It's yours.
Okay, so this is about, let's see, I hope I got this thing. Okay. All right, so this journalism professor, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Let me put it, well, I can make it bigger. Hold on.
That's what she said.
All right. Let me leave that one alone. This kind of pertains to this. Journalism professor claims that children should be exposed to adult genitalia to prepare them for seeing naked trans people in locker rooms. A shocking jab at swimmer Riley Gaines. The university professor has claimed kids should be exposed to adult genitalia to prepare them for the possibility of seeing a naked trans person in a shocking jab at swimmer Riley Gaines. Journalism professor Dr. Katja Thyme, I'm thinking that's how you say it, had made the comment in a Twitter post she shared, criticizing swimmer and women's rights advocate Riley Gaines. Thyme, who teaches at the University of British Columbia, had been tweeted a video of Gaines explaining effects of having to compete against transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. In a lengthy response to the video in which Thyme blasted Gaines, she also tweeted, "Hey, want to know one of my all-time excellent parenting ideas? Let's let little children see penises and vulvas of various ages and sizes in a casual, normalized, totally safe way." Let's see. Oh, there might be a video up here. Let's see. Riley Gaines shares a story. Okay, that's just about Riley Gaines. So let's see.
That's the transgender swimmer.
No. That's the one that was against the transgender swimmer.
Okay. Damn. Because I was about to say, like, it. She's very strong.
She had to compete against Leah Thomas. And see, so she continued, "The world will thank you for it, and so will those children when they grow up." Thyme also hit back at Gaines, who has become a leading voice against the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports. Gaines has competed after tying for 5th against controversial trans swimmer Leah Thomas at last year's NCAA championship. She previously said the experience of racing Thomas, who raced in the men's competition until 2019, felt like I was going into the race with my hands tied behind my back. During her Twitter thread last month, Thyme labeled Gaines a transphobe and said Gaines gets tearful about the emotional effect it had on her that Thomas was holding the trophy, which she had also won. "That's just whiny. What a sore, not even loser." The professor also claimed that incidents involving women who are uncomfortable after encountering biological males in locker rooms fuel anti-trans activism. Her thread continued, "Teenage girl on the swim team sees or claims to have seen a trans person in the nude in the women's change room. Her anti-trans parent or parents kick into high gear." Let's see. And it goes back to her Twitter. "Hey, want to know one of my all-time excellent parenting ideas? Letting children, little children, see penises and vulvas of different kinds." So this will normalize seeing a trans woman in the locker room. So, because Riley Gaines was talking about having to see Leah Thomas naked in the locker room, changing with other women, and a lot of women were complaining about that. So this professor said, good idea is to let kids see it as children see genitalia, so it won't gross them out or they won't be transphobic when they get older. And let me see if this video actually plays up here of Riley Gaines and see what she says right quick.
Hi, my name is Riley Gaines. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Kentucky, where I was on the women's swim team. I proudly finished my career as a 12-time NCAA All-American, a 5-time SEC champion. I am one of the fastest 200 butterflyers of all time. But on March 17th of last year, my teammates and I and other female swimmers from universities around the country were forced to compete against a biological male named Leah Thomas. Thomas was allowed to compete in the women's division after competing as a member of the University of Pennsylvania's men's swim team for 3 years. We watched on the side of the pool as Thomas won a national title in the 500-yard freestyle, beating out the most impressive and accomplished female athletes in the country, including Olympians and American record holders. Whereas just the year before, Thomas at best was ranking in the 400s in the men's category. The next day, Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle, which ended up in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. Having only one trophy, the NCAA told me that I would go home empty-handed and this trophy would go to Thomas. And when I questioned this, the NCAA told me that Thomas had to hold it for photo purposes. I was shocked. I felt betrayed and belittled, reduced to a photo op. But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male. In 1972, Congress enacted Title IX to end unjust sex discrimination in all aspects of education, including college athletics. But by allowing Thomas to displace female athletes in the pool and on the podium, the NCAA intentionally and explicitly discriminated on the basis of sex. Although the NCAA claimed it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes. But that is not all. In addition to being forced to give up our awards, our titles, and our opportunities, the NCAA forced female swimmers to share a locker room with Thomas, a 6'4", 22-year-old male who was fully intact with male genitalia. Let me be clear. We were not forewarned. We were not asked for our consent, and we did not give our consent. If nothing else, I hope you can truly see how this is a violation of our privacy and how some of us have felt uncomfortable, awkward, embarrassed, and even traumatized by this experience.
All right, I'm gonna stop the video there. Okay. All right. I want to hear you guys' opinion on this subject, where the professor is saying to try to normalize in the future when a trans woman or a trans man goes into the locker room, and what they would call natural women or breeders, whatever the name they use now for men or women, cisgender, that's another one, to let them not be so afraid, as they call it, or grossed out, that if they started off as children seeing these different genitalias, then they wouldn't have these type of fears or grievances when they become adults. So yeah, I want to hear you guys' opinion on it. What do you think about this new strategy that the professor is advocating for? And I'll let you go LT on it. Let me add the time right quick, and you tell us your opinion on the story.
Ready? Go!
I thought he was being satirical, or I thought that was a joke statement, because when children do see genitalia, it's called reading your health book. It's called health class. That was like the funniest shit ever. You open your book and one of your friends like, oh shit, yo, turn to page 37. There's boobies on it. Like that has always happened to me throughout school. So it's never lacking of knowing what genitalia looks like. Also, these are grown ass women. I'm sorry. Like I want to start this whole thing by saying, boo hoo, little blonde haired white girl. Sorry you got beat by this transgender woman. People really only give a fuck about this LGBT, about the T's taking over shit now. But I swear to God, like 2 years ago, everyone was standing alongside, and not to say standing alongside these people like they're a separate type of people, but everyone was about including transgender. Everyone was of the transgender community. But now that the transgender community forgot that they were transgender and just want to be 100%, they just want to be seen as women. Yeah, now you're having to deal with the fallout of them inhabiting your space. I'm sorry to say that. Like, when you co-sign it, and not to say that this young white lady co-signed this shit altogether, but yeah, it kind of just sounds like you're mad that she lost. You threw out the fact that he was only, he was like in 400 place as a man, and you're insinuating that men are turning themselves into women so that they can compete and outshine women. It kind of shits on women a little bit, because it's like you have to victimize. You have to play victim. And make it seem like something has been done to you, like he took his penis out in the locker room and slapped you around with it or some shit. It's like, man, you've seen a dick before. But back to what the professor said with the last few seconds I have, that's stupid. I don't think that should be done. Just teach better in health class. Don't show adult genitalia, or don't show child genitalia. Show scientific, representations of genitalia. Teach people about their bodies. It's biology. This is what biology is for.
Okay. Preezy, what you have to say about this story and the professor's intention of showing genitalia to little children to normalize it for when they get older and they may have to go in the locker room with a trans woman or a trans man?
Are you ready? Go!
All of this is crazy. I'm not knocking anybody, what they're doing or whatever. It's just bad. It's out of control. I really think they should have transgender sports, because is it really fair that women you're competing with men? You have the women's sports, the women races, the women tennis, the women basketball, whatever, and you have the men's sports. and I really don't think it's fair that this person has the strength of a man, but is playing with women. Why don't they just have transgender sports, transgender bathrooms? You got male bathrooms, you got female bathrooms, you got family bathroom. Have a transgender bathroom. I think everybody would just be happy, and then you don't have to worry about male coming in the bath, well, transgender. Ready? I want to speak correct. Transgender coming in the bathroom, you won't feel a little funny. I saw an incident where the man, he was a transgender, and he wanted to use the restroom, and the parent felt like, listen, I don't want you coming in the restroom with my daughter. You got a lot of people pretending that they transgenders. Did you hear about the story of the young man? He pretended that he was a transgender. He raped 2 girls. Yeah. People are using it the wrong way. They're not really, some of these people out here are really not transgenders. And they're using that to get around women so they could do what they want, see what they want. Oh, I'm a transgender. So the women now taking their clothes off. You're really not a transgender. You're watching. You could be filming. So this is really a mess. I think they listen, do it right. Like I said, I'm not here to knock nobody, whatever. But separate it, just like they separate everything else, right? Separate it. You got transgender sports, transgender bathroom, transgender rights, whatever. But this is really bad. It's out of control with this. And it's like there's an incident with the young girls. They were saying that a boy was transgender, and he kept, they didn't like it, and they went to the school and they talked to the principal, and he's in the locker room with us, and he got into a fight, and he was a big boy. He was tossing them girls left and right. They stood up to him, but is that right? He looked like a regular boy, but he identified as transgender. So is it right that I'm on the line? We're at a concert, and the men's line is short and the women's line is short. Well, I'm going to the men's bathroom because today I feel like a man. So I'm going to use the bathroom with the men because I ain't waiting on the line with these women. I identify as a man right now. There's 5 minutes. Is that right? Is that? So this is out of control.
Let me go right quick.
Are you ready? Go!
Yeah, the easy solution, I guess, would be to have transgender sports, but then in some of their eyes, you would be telling them that they're not women, that they are in a third category, and they think they're in the same category as women. So I don't know if that would even work, but to the professor who is trying to normalize seeing genitalia for little kids, I'm not saying transgender people are child molesters. I'm not saying that at all. But that's just making it a step closer to a child molester getting to your kids. Just showing genitalia to any kid, any little children. Because she won't say like middle schoolers, high schoolers, and sex education. She's talking about single digits in elementary school or younger, normalizing it there. And not sexualizing it, I guess, not demeaning someone just because of someone's different genitalia, and I don't think that helps out at all. To show kids genitalia, that's just where we draw the line at. You show genitalia today, then what's the next thing they're gonna show? So the next thing is probably gonna be sexual acts. I'm like, hey, it's just sexual acts. It's something involving men and women. It's natural. That's just gonna be the next step that's gonna go with it. But the thing is, you're never going to be able to be fair to both sides because, like I said, one side thinks they actually are women. And unless the other side, like, Mrs. Gaines, unless she stands up and say, hey, no, you're not women, you're men dressing up as women, then they're going to end up winning the battle. And then there's going to be more transgenders going in the bathroom with them. Women should have a safe space to go in, such as the bathroom, which is what she's talking about, to go and get dressed. You know, they should be able to go anywhere they want to. There's a safe place, a dressing room or a bathroom. If they don't want to be around someone who has a male genitalia, there should be a place for that. See, and you could say get a transgender bathroom, but again, they're going to get upset at that because it's like, oh, well, you're separating us and you're calling us not women. So now you're going to have a problem with that. So somebody, they got to stand up if they're going to have their rights not revoked to have their own bathrooms.
We honestly fucked up when we started letting, I'm not going to say when we started letting trans women or trans men be a thing, but you know, you don't really hear too much from trans men. You know what I'm saying? This, you don't really hear too many reports of male Olympic athletes upset because the woman that decided to put on a dick came into our field and out raced us or some shit. I think it's funny that you don't hear that as often. But yeah, I don't think the solution is showing young children adult genitalia, because that just creates a complex. Like, what if you showed 8-year-old me a grown man's dick? I'm not going to be able to relate to that. I have an 8-year-old's dick, not a grown man's dick. And yeah, the next step would literally just be showing those people how, or showing these kids how a dick and a vagina go together. And also, what is the, like, if this is supposed to prepare me for seeing a transgender person in the bathroom, I think like that's literally just conflating it, because this, what the professor tried to do was make light of it and say, oh, you act like you've never seen a penis before, and that's why you're acting like this. But it's not that I've never seen a penis before. It's that I'm a young woman in a woman's locker room, and here comes a trans woman that still has her male genitalia in the same locker room and having the space. Like, no regard to if I am a survivor of sexual assault, that may be triggering for me to see a man in a safe space that I thought was, you know, relegated for me as a woman. That could be very triggering. And yeah, I get what she's saying for the sake of inclusion. It's like they just didn't give a fuck about how natural born women would feel, because they care more about how these trans women feel. Because yeah, trans women have the thought of, and I've been seeing this happen more and more lately. Yeah, they don't want to settle for just being a trans woman. I paid all this money for these hormones, paid all this money for this surgery. I don't want to just be a trans woman anymore, because that still makes me feel, like you said, like a third option, like a third sex. Like I'm not a man anymore. I'm not a woman per se to you, according to you, because I used to be a man. So I'm a trans woman. They still feel like they're on the outside, and yeah, they're honestly just gonna fight harder for it. Like the fact that this young lady is stepping forward, and now people are, you know, that's gonna embroil more people to step forward about this shit, which I feel like something should have been done. Like, and honestly, no man can do anything about this, which is so ironic that women are now having a problem of dealing with men that want to be women, and not even just in feminine ways, literal in the fucking physical ways. And men can't really do anything to help women about it, because we would be considered transphobic. We would be considered, you know, they give them a league of their own. Who would watch it besides them? And not to say that, yeah, not to say they wouldn't be good athletes, not to say, but it would literally be kind of like it would kind of be like watching handicapped people compete. Not to say that they are the same as handicapped people, but it would be like, the best athletes are these kind of folks. Why would I watch these kind of folks? That's why a lot of people don't watch the WNBA. I hate to say that.
The Special Olympics get a little ratings. You know, people watch it. I don't know.
And you know what? Everything goes back to South Park, because this was an episode of South Park. Cartman decided to be, because he got tired of waiting in the line at the boys' room, he decided, no, I'm no longer Eric Cartman. I'm Erica Cartman, and I want to use the girls' bathroom because I'm a transgender.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna bring up one of your points. I thought you were going to on a little bit more. Yeah, so what if, okay, they show genitalia, let's say a male genitalia to a boy. How does that help a boy become...
How does that help me in a transgender situation?
Yeah, if it's just not even just transgender, it's just a man that say, hey, let's acclimate you to seeing a penis and not thinking it's a big deal. Where you just show a male penis to a 5-year-old. What is that supposed to do for him?
and children are naturally curious. That's if he's intrigued, if that intrigues them, like, because new things, that a child that learns new things is always going to be intrigued to learn more about it. That's just going to lead them to want to look at more dicks. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? The same reason we don't let our children watch or engage. Yeah, we don't let them watch things that involve sex and violence because we don't want them to engage in sex and violence too early. Why does that same principle not apply when it comes to showing genitalia in order to get them okay with the trans community? Because again, you can't get people to disassociate sex with their sexual organs.
Yeah.
You can't just say it's just boobies. You can't just say it's just the butt.
Exactly.
You can't just say these things are just organs that are, because you're mutilating them and changing them so that you can change your literal sex. And after that, it is no longer valuable in a sexual procreative way. So now the only you went ahead and got this dick. You can't procreate with it. You can only use this dick for sex. Sir, you cut your dick off and now you have a pussy. You cannot procreate with that pussy. You can only use it for sex.
Yeah.
So it's literally, you're removing the procreation part from children if you're just showing them to get them prepared for a transgender in the locker room, which I think is even more detrimental because, that's going to have women becoming men, men becoming women, and that is the true way to population control.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying transgender people are child molesters, so that's not the message I'm putting out there. But when you normalize things that say it's a child and say, oh, it's just a penis, oh, it's just a vagina, oh, it's just a vulva, what do you think groomers do? Like, hey, touch it. It's just a penis. Hey, don't tell anybody.
It would make it very easy to rape kids.
Yeah, just go ahead and touch it. It's just a penis. It's just sex. But don't tell anybody, though. What do you think child molesters do? So that normalizes an adult to mess with a child. Like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. It's normal. I'm supposed to be able to touch you like that. That's what that set up for. And again, I'm not saying transgender. I'm just talking about anybody, gay, straight, transgender, who happens to be a child molester, whatever. That normalizes it and it prepares the child to easily get taken advantage of because you want to normalize this shit.
It's like how that one report where they opened a school. I think we did it on the show where they opened a school where they're teaching kids about Satan and the devil and shit. It's you're trying to normalize this character, or not to say the devil is always evil, because there are some works that if you read, he is not, but that's neither here nor there, and I digress from that. But it's trying to normalize something that has always, oh shit, big red left. All right, so look, free Palestine, and they're lying to you about 9/11. R.I.P. Fred Hampton. Jay-Z was born the exact same day Fred Hampton died. Real niggas do not multiply. Jay-Z is a plant.
Okay, man, I'm back. Don't lose your mind just because I go. Go ahead.
Just had to get that off. But as they are trying to get children more comfortable with demonics and Satan and the things that involve Satan at that school where they teach kids about Satan and shit, it's like, you're trying to get your child to be okay with the aspect of seeing a dick or seeing a vagina in the way in a way that honestly they can't enter in a way that's not conducive or beneficial for them to learn about it, because you're going to try to show it to them in a non-sexual way, but it's only because of these people who have made themselves non-procreational. It's literally, I truly think it is for population control. I think the fact that they want this transgender thing to become the new norm. It only affects, it affects our society. It affects the amount of which we can procreate, and it affects the amount of which we see the opposite sex as important, especially if a man can become a woman and a woman becomes a man. It makes our roles, it makes the actual use that we have to each other useless.
Okay, my camera is messing up. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I can't see nothing now. It's like showing double vision on my side. I know I can't see nothing on the screen, but at least you can still hear.
Yeah, you're straight blacked out.
All right. If I go out, just carry on. But I might have to go back out and in, whatever. But Preezy, did you have anything to add to this subject?
No, it's out of control.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave this one, and we're gonna go to the deepest thought. I don't know what is going on with my screen. All I can see is this with me. This is all I can see.
Word. It's a hostile therapy level.
All I did was touch the cord just a little bit, and my thing disappeared. Well, this may be how I have to look for the rest of the show. I'm gonna have to look at the circle.
Lost some weight there, Big Red.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Having in real life too. All right. Well, here is the deepest thoughts. If you can't see me, you're gonna see this video though, and we're gonna see what this video represents to you once I play this video. Enjoy.
Everybody thinks chairs is just the best weapon to use now.
Fighting.
That looked like the Alabama Brawl Olympics. That's what that looked like.
No, if it was the chairs that they used at that ball, please.
Yeah.
Broken nose and
who the fuck was they talking
even with
about
those plastic chairs, you could break somebody's nose.
I don't know. How do you even set up an event like that? Because it doesn't look like, from my looking at it, doesn't look like they were doing it maliciously. It's just like, those events where people just jump in mud and slide in or whatever, and they just jump on top of people.
Yeah, what was the content? Like they was just like that was a lot of chairs. Like
messed up them rental chairs.
Yeah. Imagine you on the fucking the wait staff that really had to take the time to set up this fucking event and set up these damn chairs just for these motherfuckers to show up and throw them all over the place.
Yeah, that's the barbecue plastic chairs.
They were made to be thrown. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you're not hurting nobody with that. It's literally just like, so what the fuck? Like, you're not hurting nobody with a plastic chair. Yeah, you might put the eye out on some Christmas story shit. You might, could scrape them. You might, hit them in the back of the head or some shit. You're not about to knock them out or no shit. Like I might have to find this goddamn video on my own, because what the fuck was this for? Like this looked like a fucking an indoor Mrs. Insert your local city here pageant.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is, when black people throw chairs, a riot is about to happen.
I saw a couple white people in there, and they were so hesitant. Like, I want to throw one. Hold on. That was a terrible throw. Anybody else got another chair? Hand me that one.
I'm glad it was plastic chairs and not metal chairs, because that would have ended up with a lot of concussions, a lot of split skulls, a lot of stitches.
Yeah, they would have been there. That's a possible homicide.
A lot of deaths too.
I get hit with a metal chair if I'm not knocked out. After which, we have to run those hands. We have to let the good hands commence.
Guess it's better to throw a chair and then to swing it. More force.
Yeah, because if it's metal, and that's why they was doing that. It's easier to throw a plastic chair than it is to throw a metal chair. Because I'm not putting the metal chair down. That's a legit weapon. That's a shield. That's a motherfucking battering hammer type shit. Like that's a very versatile weapon. A plastic chair, yeah, that's a ranged projectile.
All right. Well, that was the deepest thought, and that was the end of our show. Hostile Therapy, Big Red. This has been Big Red, Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast.
Yes.
LT Lord Trent, thanks for coming on. And thanks to the audience for getting some Hostile Therapy. Not because you want it, but because you need it. We're going to be off for next week, but we promise we'll be back the week after on Thursday and hit you up with some crazy stories.
Yay.
In the meantime, y'all have a good Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Don't throw no chairs at nobody. Sit in the chairs and enjoy your barbecue sandwiches, your barbecue chicken, your barbecue pork chop, even your barbecue drinks, if there's a possible thing.
Keep that pork off your fork and that swine off your mind.
Ah!
I know some people that agree with you, what you just said. We'll see y'all on the next show. Y'all have a good night. Peace.